So I had matched with this one nigga on Tinder, and that same night, he was already asking me for a loan. I'm sorry, I didn't realize we was in the middle of a mortgage application. I'm gonna talk fast because I know how y'all attention spans be, but I moved to a new town in 2020 and I didn't have no friends. I wasn't looking for a hookup. I wasn't looking for a date. I just wanted somebody to smoke with. I downloaded Tinder and I'm like, all right, bet. I'm gonna go through these dudes and see who I can match with. Like, it's 2020, everybody smokes. I matched with this one guy and it just so happens that he lives like literally down the street from where I'm at. So I'm like, all right, bet. We talking on Tinder for a little bit, then he gives me his number. He's like, here, just text my number. I'm like, okay, cool. Don't judge me, but we linked up that same night. But like I said, it was on some smoking weed shit. Like, we was not trying to do anything else. At least I wasn't. So I tell him to meet me in the middle because I didn't want to give him my address and I didn't want to walk all the way to his crib. So we walked and we met in the middle. We're getting to know each other more. We about to start rolling up, smoking. Cool. We're like 2 blunts in at this point. And he goes, can I borrow $40? I'm looking around because I'm like, you talking to me or are you on the phone? Apparently he was talking to me. So I was like, $40 for what? He was like, oh, my birthday's next week. I need $40 to get a haircut. I'm like, your birthday is not next week. Show me your ID. Lo and behold, he shows me his ID and his birthday was next week. This was October 2020. So he's a Scorpio. Just putting that out there. So then I'm like, I guess I'll give you 40, but you got to pay me back. He said he worked at UPS. I worked at UPS. I know y'all get paid weekly, so I know you're good for it. He was like, no, for sure, I got you. But can I actually get 80? I was like, what do you need $80 for? What haircut costs $80? He was like, well, I'm going to get a haircut and then I'm going to get a bottle for my birthday. I was like, you know what? I'm a very generous person. If I got it, everybody around me got it. And I don't know if that's a toxic trait or a good thing. My therapist said that's a toxic trait, but hey, I fully expect people to have me the way that I have them, even though that's never turned out to be true. So I'm like, yeah, I guess. I'll cash up you 80, just pay me back when you get paid next week. He was like, yeah, I got you for sure. All right, so boom, we talking, chopping it up, we still smoking. Then towards the end of the night, I was like, all right, I'm gonna call it, I'm gonna go home. He was like, yeah, same, blah, blah, blah. Next day, we don't talk. I don't think it's weird because, mind you, I don't know you, I just met you, we just smoked, that's it. So I'm not tripping over the fact that we didn't talk today. Next day, now it's been 48 hours since he asked me for $80 and I gave it to him. Crickets. So I'm like, damn. Well, I kind of want to smoke. Let me hit up my new buddy. I hit him up. My messages were green. They were green. I was like, oh, okay. I go to look up his social medias. Don't find nothing. I go to his Tinder profile. Don't see nothing. I'm like, oh, I'm blocked? That's crazy. Over $80? So you matched with me on Tinder. We linked up. You asked me for money and you blocked me. I got like that? That's crazy. My thing is, right, I genuinely needed a friend. I genuinely wanted someone I could smoke with every day. Because like I said, I just moved here from Florida. I didn't have no friends. All my friends in this town are from middle school. People I don't speak to no more. And you just use me? And like, if it was about the $80, I wouldn't have been mad if you told me you couldn't pay me back next week. Shit, we could have done an installment plan if you needed it. I know UPS really don't pay that much unless you're like high up there. We could have done 10s, 20s until you pay me back. Shit, I could even put you on a $5 a week installment plan. It would have took a minute, but we would have got there. I was so confused because I genuinely feel like I bring a good vibe to the function and I thought that he was peeping my vibe. Apparently not. Apparently he was just peeping my pockets, but that's my fault. My bad, Scorpio King. Flash forward to now, I don't know anything about this dude. That was the last time we ever spoke. It's been years and I've never heard anything from him. I hope that whoever he's finessing now, I hope he's finessing them for more than just $80. Because I feel like if you wanted more, you could have gotten more out of me. I'm just that generous.
This is why I deleted my Tinder and why every single girl watching this needs to delete her Tinder too. This happened a few years ago and I honestly consider myself so incredibly lucky to be alive after experiencing this. I was living in New York City at the time and I matched with a guy. For the entire time we were talking, he was really aggressively trying to get me to go out with him. And eventually I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna let this guy take me out on a date. Maybe I'm just being judgmental. Maybe he's not being desperate. Maybe he's just putting in an effort. So the day of the date rolls around and he tells me that he wants to take me out to a restaurant that is a bit of a hidden gem and is a little bit outside of the city in an area of Westchester called Yonkers. And even though he offered to drive me, I was like, no, it's all good. I actually had my own car in New York City, so I agreed to meet up with him. Now, I feel like an absolute idiot because I didn't even Google this place before I went. again. So on the night of the date, I'm driving to this place. I put it into my GPS, and it's really weird because as soon as I see it in the GPS, it says that the place is closed. So I text my date and I'm like, hey, I just put this place into the GPS and it is telling me that it is actually closed. To which he replies, oh no, don't worry. They're really bad at updating their hours. This is the part where I should have just been like, oh hell no, and I should have canceled the date. But somehow I decided it would be a good idea to get in my car and drive 40 minutes to Yonkers for a date with a guy. So after 40 minutes of driving in traffic, I arrive at this place in Yonkers. I pull up to the building and I quickly realize that there is nobody in the parking lot and that indeed this business is really closed. Not to mention, my car is the only car in the parking lot. So I start to panic, and as I look behind me to put my car in reverse, I notice another car pull up. This car pulls up right beside me. I don't even look at the person sitting in the car. I just simply back up out of that parking lot as fast as I can and I get the heck out of there. The entire way home, I am just looking in my rear view mirror to see if there's anyone behind me, and thankfully there was not. And the craziest part of all of this is when I got home, I went back onto that dating app and I could see that the profile had unmatched with me. I never got a chance to screenshot that profile. I never learned the guy's last name, but I can't tell you guys how many times I've heard this happening to girls on dating apps. It's not worth it. Just delete it for your own safety. And if you are going to be on dating apps, please always make sure to get the person's last name and to meet in a place that you are familiar with.
If you are on these dating apps, or if you're considering downloading a dating app, let me stop you in your tracks, bitch. Because, baby, buckle up for a ride. So I think enough time has passed for me to tell this embarrassing ass story. And before I start, I don't want to hear shit about your judgment. I don't care. I don't care. Okay? So let's get into the story. Downloaded be okay. I'm thinking, okay, that's all I want to date is a black man. But ever since my dating experience on that app, I think I'm an equal opportunity lover, baby. Okay? Let's start there. So I match with this guy. I go to his profile. His profile is chef's kiss. But the first red flag that stuck out to me was the fact that his daughter was in a lot of his pictures. So I'm like, I come from being a single mom. Like, I come from a single mother and I am a single mother. So, like, I can respect a man that loves his child. You know what I'm saying? I'm just not sure I would post a picture like that on a dating app of me and my child. But, like, thank you for letting me know you got a kid. The daughter means a lot to you. And that I can tell that, obviously, from her being on your profile. All right, cool. So we get to talking in the DMs or whatever the case may be. The vibes is vibing. Like, he's like, you know what? Like, let me get your number. All right, cool. So we exchange numbers. Second red flag. And I'm sorry if this offends anybody, but it was a green bubble. And I'm like, God damn. Fuck. But I'm looking for love. I'm not looking for a pen pal. I'm not looking for a FaceTime buddy. So, all right, cool. We find out other ways to communicate. So we talking, we vibing. We have so much in common. Number one, we're both Tauruses. Our children are Tauruses. Me and my son are 11 days apart. Him and his daughter are 11 days apart. So we fell in love. Baby, we fell in love, okay? We eat the same foods. He's a chef. I'm a foodie. This is gonna work. This is gonna work. This is the love of my life, okay? And let's talk about it. Face card, never declined. He's handsome. You feel me? I'm like, I could see us doing this. So every day we talking, and we're like finding more synchronicities with each other. We got tons of siblings. Like, it's just so many similarities. Ladies, please do not fall in love with potential, or please do not fall in love based on common interest. I promise you, it's the strangest thing in the world that you could ever do, because there's so many layers to a person outside of like the similarities y'all have that you have to get to know, and I'm going to get into it, okay? I have a hard time with this. So I tend to fall in love with single fathers. My last relationship was with a single father, and I respect men who are able to take their child under their wing and raise them without a woman in the household, especially if it's a girl. So that just gave me like a certain level of respect for him that other men couldn't equate to. You know what I'm saying? So lesson learned, stop falling for these men who are single fathers, because they ain't shit too. Anyway, so back to the story. Here's red flag number 3. He told me he was a sous chef. And I'm like, all right, cool. But when we would text, it was constant communication. So here go my stupid self. I got to Google what a sous chef is. Because I'm like, if you cooking, it's unsanitary to always have your phone in your hand. So I'm like, let me Google what a sous chef is. So I Google what a sous chef is, and basically, like, they're the executive chef in the kitchen that oversee everybody else and make sure, like, the food that's plated is properly done before it goes out to the customer. All right, cool. So I'm like, okay, I could see how he's so expressive and able to answer text messages so fast. Benefit of the doubt. I've never worked in the kitchen. Have you? Okay, so I wasn't thinking that far. But one day, he tells me he's about to start a new job. It's better opportunities. The schedule is better. It's closer to home for him and his daughter. And I'm like, yo, that's perfect. Because he was traveling like 2 hours to commute to work. And I'm like, yo, that's perfect. I know how it is to pick up a kid from elementary school and how much of a struggle it can be for childcare. So I'm like, yeah, like, I'm wishing you the best, you know, praying for you, whatever. Whoop-de-whoop. He calls me from the job. And he's like, I have to do all these trainings and stuff. And I'm like, okay, well, you know, do what you got to do. He was like, but they playing in my face. They trying to tell me they going to give me a lower wage than what they was going to give me. So I ain't feeling this. So I'm like, all right, you know, let's weigh out the pros and the cons. Mind you, I'm at work. Why are you calling me? But I'm anything for my man, right? Even though he wasn't my man. So I'm like, let me help him figure this out. So we do the pros and the cons. And we like, yo, like, pretty much, what are you going to do? So I'm like, call me back when you figure out what you're going to do. Because regardless, you're employed. Like, that's all that matters. You got a kid. He calls me back. He ends up at Starbucks. So I'm like, how did you get to Starbucks like that quick? So he was like, oh, whatever. You know him, you know me. I drink coffee all day. That's how I'm able to stay up with these long hours at work. So I'm like, all right, whatever. So he calls me back. He's still at Starbucks. So I'm like, hours later, why are you still at Starbucks? All right, cool, whatever. That's none of my business. So then he calls me like an hour later. He's like, yo, I'm about to go to the studio. So I'm like, okay, no problem. Where's the studio? In Harlem. Okay, cool. Cool. All right, cool. You a rapper. All right, fine. You know, the hustle is there. I see it. I'm a hustler too, baby. I'm a hustler. I'm a hustler, homie. I get it. Do your big one. But just don't let me hear no whack shit or we gonna have a problem. So he calls me back that night. I'm asleep. Dead sleep to the world. He was like, yo, I think I'm come see you tomorrow. So I'm like, in my mind, we never met. So I'm like, you're not coming to see me. We're going out to eat or something. You're not getting my address. You're not knowing where I live. Like, this, all of this is cute. But I use my mata, you feel me? I use my brain. So I'm like, oh, let's go out for breakfast. Like, you know, whatever. Let's do something cute. Let's go out for breakfast. You love coffee, right? Let's go have a like nice little cute coffee date. Like, all right, bet. This is where things go awry. I get a strange text message from a number I never saw before, and it was a YouTube link. I'm like, oh, these scammers are, they're upgrading their tactics, and I'm not with the bullshit. So I didn't open the link. I didn't touch it. I didn't nothing. I get a phone call an hour later. Babe, you saw that text message I sent you? I said, that was you that texted me from that 646 number? I was like, okay, this is the first time I'm hearing of you having two phones. But no, I didn't look at it. So he's like, look at it while we're on the phone. Look at it. So I'm like, all right, cool. I look at the video. This man is on the public MTA New York City bus harassing a Caucasian man. Like, trolling in real life. Like, on the bus. Camera in the man's face on the bus. I said, you know you're black, right? And you know he's Caucasian, right? And you know, I don't think this is funny. You're harassing this man. He like, babe, I'm go viral. I'm like, yeah, no, I don't like this. I instantly get scared. Because now I don't know you. I never knew you, but now I don't know you. So I'm instantly nervous. So now in my mind, oh, I'm never meeting you. I'm never linking you. No breakfast. I don't care if it's daylight savings outside and the sun is at the highest point in the sky. I don't care if it's golden hour. I'm not meeting you nowhere, no place, anytime. That was red flag. I done ran out of the flags. It's turning into the Olympics at this point, right? I think y'all gonna have to look out for part 2 because I'm running out of time. What's up, y'all? It's part 2. I'm not leaving y'all hanging. We gonna drop these things back to back like that. But whatever, let's get back into the story. So remember when I said I went to the studio the night before, he was drinking. All right, cool. So fast forward the next day, I told y'all he texted me from a weird number. All right, cool. I watched the YouTube video, highly disappointed, had to put him in his place, told him about himself because why are you bothering these people on their way to work, sir? Like, what are you doing? Like, when I tell y'all it was bad, he was telling this man he was going to throw coffee on him. Like, I'm telling y'all, trolling him in real life. He's like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Fight me? I'll beat your ass. I'll beat your ass. Like, it was bad. I got second-hand embarrassment over the phone from watching it. Mind you, I'm watching it in live time while I'm on the phone with him. And I'm reading him for filth. Yeah. Because you don't do stuff like that around me. I'm not one of the people that condone bullshit. So I'm just like, why would you do that to that man? Anyway, moving forward. So he hangs up. He's like, all right, cool, whatever. It's too much going on where I'm at right now. I'm going to call you back. I bet it is. I bet it is. So time has passed by. Maybe about 10, 15 minutes. He texts me from his actual number. He's like, my phone was dead. So send me your address. I'm like, I'm not sending you my I left him sitting right there. Because you're not getting my address. So he calls me an hour later. And he's like, yo, why you ain't send me your ad yet? So I'm like, oh, no, because I'm trying to figure out if you're okay. Like, just making an excuse. I'm just trying to make sure you're okay. I don't know why I picked up this man's phone call. I really don't know why. But I had to, I guess I was doing it for the plot. I don't know. I don't know why I picked up. So, when he called me back to get my address or whatever the case may be, he starts arguing with somebody in the background. So I'm like, yo, what's up with you? Like, you all right? So he hang up. He like, yo, I'm about to... Oh, my God, I left out a part. The night before, when he called me, and he was saying he was on his way home from the studio. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning. He was arguing with somebody at the bus stop. He was like, yo, my nigga, stop staring at me before I come over there and really do you. So I'm like, what is going on? So this man is pretty much has anger issues, which is to be expected from a Taurus. So I'm peeping this. Keep in mind. So now he's arguing with somebody in the store. So I'm like, yeah, I don't have time for this. Call me back, whatever we'll do. In my mind, I'm still not meeting you. He don't know that though, whatever. So when we hung up, something was in me was just like, go back to that YouTube video. So I go back to the YouTube video, and something tells me to click on his picture. I go to his YouTube page. It's like 4 of them videos of him trolling people all that morning. He gets in the public subway and is putting the phone this close to people's face. And I'm noticing a trend. He's only picking on certain people of a certain community, of a certain race. You know who to play with like that. Because if it was me, I would have called the cops. I would have been a Karen. I would have called the cops. I'm like, yo, what is... So I'm like, yeah, he's off his rocker. He's bonkers. Like, something is wrong. Like, this man has some type of mental something going on. Something. Because this just not making sense. Y'all. He calls me back. This time, another hour later. I'm on the couch just thinking over my actions. And I'm just like, how did you let this happen? How did you let this happen? You've been single for 14 months, on your own, doing your big one, minding your business, drinking your water, losing weight. Why did you let somebody like this into your life? Like, you played. So I'm beating myself up on the couch when he called me. He called me. I'm like, yo, what's up? He like, you still ain't sent me the addy, whatever. But he like, babe, I got something to tell you. So I'm like, got something to tell me? I'm like, you ain't got nothing to tell me, but whatever. Next thing you know, I hear, hold on. He clicks back over. I'm hearing a third person. So I'm like, is this nigga trying to tell me he's married or something? Because at this point, go back to your wife. I hear a dispatcher say, are you still there? We're sending the vehicle for you now. Send my vehicle? So he like, are you going to send me one for my wheelchair? Or why are you sending me a van? Are you sending it for my wheelchair? So I'm like, wheelchair? So he starts laughing. He's like, nah, I'm playing. I said, you've been doing a lot of playing this morning, and I really don't have time for it. So I hear the lady say, all right, the vehicle will be there in a couple minutes, gonna pick you up. So not only is he trolling me, he's trolling her, he's trolling the people around him, he's yelling at the man at the hot dog stand that he didn't give him his cash, and he trying to play with him, and where's my change? I'm just like, what? What is happening right now? So he gets in the vehicle, and I'm like, are you kidding me right now? I said, did you just call a rehab facility? He like, yeah, babe, I gotta go to rehab. I got a drinking problem. I can't keep doing this. I can't keep doing this to myself. I said, keep? I said, so when was you gonna tell me you had a drinking problem? This man gonna say, I told you. No, the fuck you did. No, you did not. So I'm like, yo. I said, so you're on your way to rehab right now. He's like, yeah, they coming to get me. You heard the lady say, the dispatcher say that they coming to get me in 10 minutes. So I'm like, how could you just make an impulsive decision like this? And this is when he told me he'd been had a drinking problem. And that he told me. And I'm like, you didn't tell me that because I wouldn't have talked to you. I promise you I wouldn't have. So we having back and forth banter, back and forth, back and forth. We just talking at this point. So he's like, babe, I gotta do this for us. We gonna get an apartment. Me, you, his daughter name I ain't gonna say, my son name. I gotta do this for us. I gotta get right for us. We gonna get an apartment together. We gonna live in Harlem. He had this weird obsession with Harlem. Mind you, he's not from Harlem. He's not even from New York. So now I gotta play my part. I gotta play the distraught girlfriend that never met her boyfriend. He's like, yo, you the love of my life. We gonna do this together. I'm doing this for the kids. I'm doing this for us. If I don't take care of myself, how am I gonna be good for y'all? How am I gonna be able to pay all the bills? And I'm just like, babe, why? Why didn't you tell me? I could have helped you. Why are you doing this to us? Why are you doing this to us? So this man, he gets in the van. He's bothering the driver. They drive him all the way to Coney Island. He gets out the cab multiple times. He's like, I'm about to get me a Four Loko. I'm going to get me a Mango Rita. I said, you're still drinking? I'm confused. So now I'm mad. Because you're playing in my face. Now I'm mad. So now this is insanement for me. Now I'm mad. So I'm like, why would you be drinking? I thought you was trying to get better for us. What happened? He's like, if I'm going to rehab, why? If I'm going to rehab, I might as well get it out my system. So I'm like, your way of thinking is crazy. That's like me saying, let me binge my food before I go on a weight loss journey. That don't make sense. Like, just stop. It's a problem at this point. Just stop. So he's like, I'm like, yo, who else knows about this? I can't be the only one who has this information, this pertinent information. I cannot be the only person with this information. Who else knows about this? I said, where's your mother? Where's your sisters? Where these 15 sisters you claim you got? Where's these people at? So he dials in his mama. Mind you, never met the man, but I'm on the phone with his mama. I'm doing better than I have been in a lot of relationships that I was actually in. I met the nigga mama over the phone before we even met. So in that regard, baby, he was doing something, but whatever. So he calls his mother and she's like, she calls him his nickname. Why do you keep doing this to yourself? I'm like, oh, this nigga really got a problem. I bet, cool. So I explained the situation to his mother. She starts breaking down a bunch of stuff. The daughter don't live with him. Haven't lived with him in the past 2 years. She all the way in a whole nother state. I'm just like, what? Everything is a lie? Everything is a lie. So I'm running out of time again. And when I tell you, the story is not over yet. He turns up. He turns it up 15 more notches. Okay? Yeah. I see y'all in part 3. All right, y'all. This is part 3 of Who the F Did I Almost Link? BLK online dating app horror story. I told y'all he is going to the facility. He finally gets dropped off. So every time he hangs up with me, I'm just getting the inkling to, like, look into this man. So I pay, like, $10 to do a background research on him because at this point, I'm hearing too much red flags, and I'm just curious to see what this man's background is like between the things that I've heard from his mom, which I'm about to tell you, and the energy and his actions that he's displaying over the phone. So I can only imagine what FaceTime would have been like if this man would have had an iPhone. But like I told y'all, he got Android. So stick with me. The cab driver drops him off at the facility, and now he's having second thoughts. So, baby, you're not going to have no second thoughts with me on this phone after I done heard all this foolishness that you've been doing. So, no, you're going to the place. You're going. No ifs, ands, or buts. about it. So now I'm using the whole family ploy thing to him, like, oh yeah, you got to do this for us. You got to do this for your family. We love you. We want you to be good. We want you to be safe. We want you to take care of yourself. We don't want you to have any problems. So when we move into this apartment, you'll be okay. All right. So I'm using that. I'm using that to my advantage, and it's kind of like working. So he's like, all right, babe, you know what? You're right. I'm just going to stay here for a few minutes. I'm about to go inside now. Let me figure it out. So he hangs up. So I call his mom. I give his mother the update. I'm like, you know what? Let me pick this lady brain, because now I need the tea. So now she's telling me how he has no custody of his daughter. He hasn't had custody of his daughter in the last 2 years. And I'm like, okay. So then she also tells me that he just recently got out of the hospital. I'm like, Strangely enough, he's always telling me he's at work. She's like, oh no, he doesn't have a job. He's been in the hospital for months. He has cysts on his brain, spots on his liver. It's a whole lot of going on. Eyes was yellow, skin yellow, jaundice kind of thing going on. I'm like, oh, so his liver is fried, is what you're telling me from this drinking. Because when he was in that car, he told me he had a full bottle of Tito's, a full bottle of Casamigos, and some other stuff in between. And I'm like, you mean you share this with the people at the studio? He's like, no. I drank this all by myself, which is why I need to check into rehab, because I have a problem. I said, oh, you have a problem? Interesting. So let's go back to the conversation I had with his mom. So she's like, yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if his time living in Far Rockaway, when he had a friend that passed away, if he didn't try every drug in the book. I'm like, oh, so she was like, yeah, anything. I wouldn't be shocked if he didn't try it. And I'm like, wow, okay. Addictive personality. I see. Okay, cool. So we hang up. I give her the update. Okay, he went into rehab. Hopefully he'll be contacting you soon, because I'm done. I have a son. This is too much for me. This is too much for you, apparently, because you done gave up and relinquished your rights a long time ago, baby. So I feel you on that. So he gets to the rehab. I get a phone call from the rehab. I pick up. I don't know why I'm still picking up phone calls at this point, but I pick up. And I'm hearing a bunch of screaming, commotion, yelling. Why the F would y'all send me all the way to Coney Island if y'all wasn't going to take me, if y'all ain't have no more intakes for the day? Y'all knew what time I called the cab, why the cab took this long to get here, and I get here and y'all telling me y'all can't take me to tomorrow. So I'm drunk right now. Like, this is why I'm here, because I got a problem. Y'all sending me away. So I'm trying to calm him down. He's like, you know what? Speak to my wife. Clutching my imaginary pearls, because who is your wife? Not me. Not I, sir. So I get on the phone with the intake nurse. She's like, listen, we cannot take him. It's after hours. He can come back tomorrow. We can send him to a place to detox overnight, and then he could come back tomorrow. But as of right now, we cannot take him. So I'm trying to explain this to him. He don't want to hear nothing. So I'm hearing him yelling at the security guard, like, what are you looking at? You want me to F you up and all of this? So I'm like, oh, my God, now he's about to fight security. So they trying to calm him down. And I'm like, it's a lot going on. So y'all call me when y'all figure that out. That is not my husband. Stop calling him my husband. And y'all figure that out. But I'm hanging up. So I hung up. About 20 minutes later, I get a call from the person that oversees, like, the intake nurses, the head nurse. And he's like, oh, we're calling the cops to have him apprehended because he has physically attacked our security guard and has chased him around a parked car. I said, oh yeah, this is far beyond my reach. I said, once again, I'm not his wife. I have no affiliation with that man. Stop calling me. Yeah, I'm done. So upon looking this man up, I never got the chance to, like, fully get the full report on him. I paid the whole $10, the whole shebang, because I wanted the tea, okay? And what these calls going back and forth, like, it was just too much going on that I didn't even care about the report no more. But I'm pretty sure, like, there was some type of, like, violence on there, because this man is apparently violent. So they kick him out. I get a phone call a few hours later from a local supermarket in the area. I don't got nowhere to go tonight. They put me out. They called the cops. I had to leave. Whoop-de-whoop. I'm like, yeah, you're doing a lot. You're doing a lot. So you need to find somewhere to go tonight or whatever. I'm like, that hotel you called me from, go back to that hotel. Go back for the night because you spent your money already. Like, go figure out your way there. I get a phone call the next morning. I hear, doo, doop in the back. So I'm like, okay, he's at the hospital. He's safe. All right, cool. So we recalling all the details from the day before. And he's like, well, I said that. What? Oh, my God. I'm like, yeah, I spoke to your mom. She gave me the tea. He's like, damn, she just put all my business on Front Street. You didn't put all your business on Front Street. So somebody had to do it. So now I'm telling him, like, I'm not even mad, but we can just be, we could just go about our separate ways. Like, this is done. This is a lot for me. A person with a kid, like, you should have more respect for the fact that I have a child than to put me in a situation like this. And now he's like, oh, you're kicking me when I'm down, and everybody always leaves me, and whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. And I said, oh, you're not going to gaslight me into staying into the situation. You're absolutely out of your mind, and you must still be drunk. I said, I'm not doing this with you. I'm sorry. I really do apologize, but I'm going to be like those other women, and I'm going to leave. His mom calls me a few days later. Fast forward, his mom calls me a few days later, and she's like, remember all the things I said about him trying different drugs? Like, I don't know that for sure. That's just things that I've heard. I said, oh, you're not going to gaslight me as well. He must have called you, chewed you up, and spit you out, and now you want to call and do damage control. It's not happening over here, sis. You yourself told me to leave your son alone. And that's exactly what I intend on doing. So why are you calling me? Maybe about 2 days later, I get a phone call from him. Blocked. A voice message. Alexis, I miss you, girl. Pick up the phone. Call me back. I won. This is by far the craziest experience I've ever had with someone that I've never met before. This was a lot. And if he sees this video, I pray he got the help he needed. But stay far away from me, baby. I don't want no parts. Okay? I don't want no parts. But if y'all want more stories like this, because I got a few of them, and if I'm willing to tell and I'm willing to share, we'll probably get into it. But yeah, ladies, do not fall in love with potential. Was I in love? Obviously not. I didn't know the man. I never met him. But yeah, this is my life. And yes, I deleted the app. And you should too. Okay? Bye. I messed up when I told y'all the story, y'all. And this is going to act as like a part 4 real quick. So I'm going to answer your question. I'm going to give some bonus information in this video. And I'm also going to put it inside the playlist. So, the daughter did, in fact, not live in New York City at this point, because I do remember him telling me that she did not like being in New York City. It was too fast-paced for her. She was so used to Minnesota. So she went back to move with his sister. But when I spoke to his mom, and I'm like, okay, what sister does she live with? She told me she does not live with my daughter, which was one of many. She lives with her sister with an adopted family. So I'm like, wow. So everything was a lie. Even down to where the little girl lived was a lie. Like, I just couldn't believe it. So yeah, whole time she lived in Minnesota. The goal was for him to stay back in New York City, stack his bread, stack his money, so that way he can get a bigger apartment in a better school district for her to go to school and feel more comfortable. And all of that was a lie, as you guys already know. When he was in the hospital and we finally had our conversation and I was able to press him about the information that was provided to me by his mom, and that he personally told me out his own mouth when he was a drunk, belligerent fool, I asked him for his address, because I just felt like everything is a lie at this point. So I'm just, now, since I'm doing it for the plot, let me get all the information I need. So he gives me this address and I look it up, and it's like an it's in a industrial area in the Bronx. Like, it looked like a place where you drop like those shipping containers in Dexter. I'm like, so you gonna keep lying to me, not telling me the truth? Because I googled this address and there's no residential area nowhere near here. Not even a block radius away. He's like, I swear to God, that's where I live. I swear to God, you want to see some mail? You want to see some mail when I come out the hospital? You want to see some mail? You want to see my ID? I said, this is not even a shelter. So if you're going to lie correctly, baby, make sure you send me an actual address, that someplace, somewhere someone can live. This looks like an office or headquarters to a shipping container company. The lies just kept coming and kept coming. And I was like, you know what? I'm no longer doing this for the plot. I don't even care anymore. You're a bozo. Get your life together and stay away from me at this point, because it was just too much. It was too much. Like, the plot thickened too much to the point where I couldn't keep up, okay, baby? So I had to go. I had to dip out. Oh my God, y'all. It is the next morning and I'm remembering more important and pertinent details, okay? So the reason why I was sticking around on these phone calls every time he was calling me, because he did in fact tell me the reason why he got so pissy poor drunk. The reason why he was drinking that particular day and went to the studio is because he was in his feels. And the reason why he was in his feels is because, remember when I told y'all about the job, giving him lower wages and him being closer to home? All of that was for the purpose of him being closer to home to be able to take care of his daughter when she comes back to the city. So I said, if you don't want to take lower wages and you're more than comfortable traveling 2 hours to commute to work, what you need to do is call your daughter and make sure she is really dead set on coming back to the city. Because if she doesn't want to be here, you changing jobs is not the problem if she didn't like the school. So he's like, all right, I'm going to call her and I'm going to call you back. When he called me back, he mentioned nothing about the daughter. He mentioned nothing about speaking to her. He told me, okay, she gets out of school at a certain time. I think Minnesota is a different time zone from New York City. He was like, I'm going to call her when she get out of school. I think the next time we spoke, he told me he hadn't spoken to her yet. So at a point when he did speak to her, I guess is when he decided to go to the studio and drink 2 bottles of Casamigos and Tito's, right? So when he called me when he was in the Uber that day, and I'm like, yo, why did you do all of this? He was like, to be honest, I'm doing all this because she said she didn't want to come back home. And I feel like a bad father. So when his mother said what she said about the daughter, it triggered him. So that's the reason why, like, I felt kind of, like, emotionally connected a little bit. Because I'm like, dang, like, he feel like he losing in life. And he kept saying that. It was like, oh, don't kick me while I'm down. Don't kick me while I'm down. And I felt bad. Like, I don't know this man. But, like, I felt bad. Like, your daughter saying she don't want to come live with you and you're her only real parent, it says a lot about you. Because you can easily change your school. You can move. You can do whatever you need to do. So that I'm remembering things, y'all. Because when I say I pushed this all the way out of my frontal lobe, baby, it had to go. It had to go. But I'm remembering now. I should have been remembering before I told the story. I'm sorry. But, you getting the info nonetheless. You getting the tea nonetheless, okay? So let me get ready for the gym. I'll see y'all later.
Let me tell you about my dating horror story. I've been sitting on this for months. So I was telling this story to my friends last weekend, and they were like, you have got to make a TikTok about this. So let me just give you a story time of the last date I went on, which was this past February. I have not been on a date since because I might be slightly traumatized. So I matched with this guy on Hinge. And my friends were actually with me when I matched, and they were like, Bailey, just ask him on a date. He seems really cool. And he did. His conversation was great. He was very articulate. I was just like, okay, sure. So I messaged him and I said, hey, do you want to meet at this bar? It's an arcade bar that we have downtown here. And he's like, oh my God, I love that place. Yes, I would love to. Great. Okay, perfect. So then the next day is the date. And like an hour before the date, he texts me, he says, so what are the vibes? What are you wearing? Which I was kind of just like, I've never had a guy ask me that, especially on a date to a bar, but whatever. So I wore all black. And if you guys scroll all the way down to February, you'll see my, it was a first date TikTok where I used the first date sound from Blink-182. So you can see I looked good. Okay, I looked really, really good. And so I just said, oh, I'm wearing all black. I'm wearing a dress and a jacket and combat boots. Okay, cool. So buckle up, okay? Buckle up. So I get to the date. We meet in the parking lot. First thing he does is go, oh. And I'm just standing there all awkwardly. And he goes, you look like you're going to start a cult. So right off the bat, I didn't like him, but I drove all the way there and I'm going to get a free drink. So sounds good. So we are walking in and I was like, oh, I haven't been here since they changed locations. And he goes, oh yeah, it's pretty nice in there, except the bartender's a fucking bitch. Strike two. So then we're walking in and he is standing in front of me and he is like going like this.
behind him, but he's like going like this. And I go, what? And he's like, give me your ID. She's going to ask for it. Okay. I said, well, you could use your words. And he like giggled, and I was being totally serious. So I handed my ID. We're waiting for our drinks. And I was like, what are you going to order? And he is like, oh, I don't really drink. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, we could have gone anywhere but a bar. And he's like, no, like I do sometimes. And I was like, okay. So we're still waiting. And he goes, yeah, you know, I just used to be really big into pills. And I'm like, okay. This is all within the first 5 minutes, by the way. So then we finally sit down and he immediately just starts talking, okay? And he's like, yeah, just so you're aware, like, I'm not really interested in marriage or anything like that. And I was like, okay. I was like, well, this is probably just not going to work because I'd like that to be an option for me someday. And he's like, well, like, I don't want to get married right now. And I'm like, I was not planning on walking down the aisle with you tonight. So, and he like giggled, and I was being serious. And then he goes, yeah, you know, I make so much money, like a lot of money. And, you know, she's going to have to sign a prenup. And I just go, ew. And he's like, what? I was like, it's really fucking gross to say to somebody within 10 minutes of meeting them, but okay. So then he goes, yeah, and definitely no kids. Like, no kids. I'm not interested in kids. And I was like, yeah, once again, it's not going to work. By the way, I already knew this wasn't going to work. I didn't like him the second I met him, but I stayed for the plot. Anyway, he's like, yeah, absolutely no kids. And I was like, oh yeah, this isn't going to work because I'd like that to be an option for me too. And he goes, well, just not right now. And I was like, I wasn't planning on getting pregnant by you tonight either. So, and he just giggled again. And I'm just like, okay. Then he goes, yeah, the last time I went on a date here, which, red flag, why are you telling me about your last date you went on? I don't give a fuck. Anyway, the last date I went on here, you know, she got out of her car and she was like way fucking fatter than I expected. Sir, I know you're not fucking saying that to a fat person. Anyway, he said, yeah, she was way fatter than I expected, so I cut the date pretty short and then I blocked her on my way home. I just go, ew. And he's like, what? I was like, you're just kind of fucking gross. And I swear to God, I was saying all this to him. I don't know if his kink was being like shot down, but like he literally was shot down this whole time. Okay, this is getting way too long. I'm gonna have to do a part 2. Welcome back to my dating horror story part 2. So at this point, I'm like done. I'm so done. And I texted my friends who happened to be at the bar right next to us, and I said, you need to get me the fuck out of here. Like, I need to leave. This man is the worst man I've ever met in my life. So I told him, I said, hey, my friends are next door. They want to come over and chit chat. You cool with that? And he's like, yeah, I'm fine with that. What, do they want to like grill me? Do they want to grill me? Do they like want to ask me questions? And I was like, maybe, I don't know, maybe. So my friends get there and he's like, oh, hey, like, did you want to like ask me questions? Like, did you guys want to grill me? And they're like, I mean, we can. So they did. Their first question was, what are your goals for the next 5 years? And he goes, I don't have any. I go, not one single goal. And he's like, well, I mean, I have lots of money. I have a nice house. I have a nice car. Him and I have the same car, by the way. Mine is just white. His was a burnt orange color, but we have the same car. And I promise you, it's not fancy. Anyway, and so I was icked out way hard by that, but okay. Then they asked like what his favorite kind of music is, and he says he likes like house music, like techno music, stuff like that. And I was like, oh, I don't really listen to a lot of that, but I have some saved like in my playlist. And I was like, my favorite person of all time is Stevie Nicks. And he goes, who's he? Excuse me? How do you... Anyway, so I was appalled by that. Then like he's got tattoos everywhere. He's tatted all over the place. And one of my friends was like, oh, I like your tattoos on your hand. And he was like, thanks. And then she saw like a scar and she's like, oh gosh, what's that from? He's like, oh yeah, you know, that's just from when I used to myself. Okay. Then they said, what's the worst thing you've ever done? And he's like, you know, that'd have to be when I had a whole drawn out plan on how I was going to schmurder my ex-girlfriend's ex-boyfriend with a sledgehammer. We all were just like, okay, what? Now let me say, this date has been 3-ish hours. He's gotten me one drink, okay? But he's got all this money. He's gotten me one drink. And he has not asked me one question about myself. Not one. Not a single question. There were more questions that were asked, but I can't really think of them right now. We were talking about like where we live or whatever. And he was like, oh my God, I can't believe you live there. And I was like, weren't you raised here? And he's like, yeah, but I got out of there. Okay, where'd you go? He went 35 minutes away where pretentious assholes live. So, you know, good for you, buddy boy. So at this point, my friends are over it. They're like, okay, Bailey, we're gonna go. Like, we need to go. We'll meet you there. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll see you soon. So they walk out and he pays the tab of our 2 drinks because he only got me one fucking drink this whole 3 hours. And as we're walking out, he like starts his car from inside the bar. And I was like, and it was cold out. And I was like, damn, I wish that I had gotten remote start in my car. And he goes, if you're broke, just say that. Excuse me? I am fucking broke, but that's so fucking rude. So at this point, I'm done. So we walk out to the parking lot and he gives me this awkward side hug thing. And he was a very skinny, short, tatted up man, which is like my bread and butter, baby. I love a skinny man. I don't know why. But my first reaction was to literally go, ooh, God, you are way too fucking bony for me. And he was like, and I was like, yeah, this isn't gonna work out. So I walk out to my car and he's like, well, have fun talking shit about me to your friends. And I was like, oh, I will. As soon as I got in my car, I went to the app because I wanted to screenshot a picture of him because I knew everybody was going to ask me what he looked like. And he had blocked me already. Blocked me for that one comment. Baby, you literally said to a fat person that you were disgusted in another fat person. I just had to call you out on your boniness. And then like 5 months later, I saw him on the Are We Dating the Same Guy Facebook page in our surrounding area. And oh my God, the comments are hilarious. I'm fully aware that I shouldn't have stayed 3 hours. But like I said, I stayed for the plot because what in the fuck? So yeah. Dating's going really, really well for me.
I'm bored and I'm in the mood, so I'm gonna tell y'all a story time about a Tinder date from hell. All right, so y'all, I was around 19, 20 at the time. I just graduated from high school, 2017 for year context. And I used to get on Tinder just for fun, like just because I was bored. It was nothing to do. I was on Tinder. Now, I will say, stay off them fucking dating apps. Please! Save yourself the trouble. I met a lot of nasty ass creatures on there that I didn't have no business running into because I was bored. So this one boy in particular, he went to A&T. I'm a name drop because just for y'all. He went to A&T. We matched on Tinder. He was cute. He was a sort of a chubby guy. He had like a ginger beard. He was real cute. So we was texting on Tinder for a while and he asked me for my number, which I was kind of hesitant to give to him. But like I said, I was bored. So he gets my number and we were texting for like a week. Finally, he said, fuck all that texting. I want to see you. So I'm like, okay, if you want to see me, take me out on a date, you know, because I'm not no cheap bitch. Or so the fuck I thought at that time. So he's like, okay, I'm going to pick you up Send me your address. I'm gonna come get you like around 8 the next day. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm not really excited. You know, this was not my first date on Tinder. I was a horrible person too. I used to go on the dates for the free food. I sure did. I don't give a fuck. I don't judge your mama. But I was nervous. You know, I was nervous. Long story short, he picked me up and, you know, we vibing. I get in the car. He looked like himself. He not a catfish. You know what I'm saying? He say, I'm cute too. We vibing. We listening to music. Now, what should have been the first red flag is that he kept playing Pimp C. What was that song? Y'all, I went to go look. Excuse me. It's not Big C. It's Big Punisher. It's So Hard. To this day, I'm traumatized by that song. He played that song over and over and over and over and over until we got to our destination. That song still haunts me to this day. If I hear that song, the saxophone start playing. So we pull up to the destination. I look around. I look to my left. I look to my right. Why are we at Golden Corral? I'm like, we're at Golden Corral. Why? What's going on? He like, what you mean? We here to eat. Eat? We gonna eat some hospital food? He's like, what's wrong with Golden Corral? I should have known better. College student. Slightly balding. I should have known better. But you know, we already here. Fuck it. Fuck it. I'm not gonna lie. Fuck it. I'm like, it's whatever. You know, we already here. I might as well eat it. So we go inside. You know what I'm saying? The total comes up to $20. I'm not mad at you, player. I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad. But it's like, you really do got me fucked up because Golden Corral, like, I don't like it. I don't like it. Like, no, you don't do that. At least let me know before. Let me know. Like, I'm all dressed up. Come on. Come on, gang. So we sit down and we start eating. And that man starts to pig out. He's getting his money's worth. Money's worth. He eats 8 plates. I'm still on my first one. I knew right then and there I fucked up. I want to be those plates, though, at the end of the night. I just land. So he eats his food, and we finally finish, and we leave. So now I'm like, okay, like, you know, it was nice seeing you, whatever. He's like, what you finna do after this? I'm like, you know, go home. He's like, nah, we can chill for a little bit. Come on. Like, I like you. You a vibe. I bet you do like me. I bet you do. I bet you do. I bet you do like me. Y'all, and this is where it gets really foolish on my part. Because, yes, I did. I did go back with him. I did hang out with him. Yes, I did. I did that. I own it. I'm 27 now. Y'all can't judge me. That was the past. Let it go. You can't judge me. It was the past. So we get to his dorm. As soon as I walk in, first of all, your roommate is here. And his room was a fucking pigsty. You hear me? Pigsty. Fritos on the bed. Socks. Crusty ass socks. That you know what he did with them socks. On the floor. Shoes turned over and twisted over. Pillow on the floor. It smelled like B.O. in there. Yeah, I want to go home. I didn't contest to this. Soon as he's trying to convince me to stay, he's like, what you mean? Like, we hear a knock at the door. A hard-ass knock. And it was something like, open this fucking door. I know you in there. I know you in there with that bitch. The whole room was silent. His roommate was silent. He's silent. I'm silent. And I already know what the fuck finna go down. She banging on the door. Turn up. Come out here. Turn up. Come out here. You took me to Golden Corral. You took me back to your dirty dorm. And now somebody want to fight me over that. Baby, you can have that. You can have it. She beating on that door like she Nick Cannon off Drumline. Open that fucking door for that lady. For real. For real. So we in there for about a cool 12 minutes. At this point, I want to go home. I go to the door and I open it. I sure did because I'm trying to leave. I really do want to go home. I do. And she like, and who is you? I'm like, I'm the roommate's friend. Y'all, I'm not coochie. I promise you I'm not. If anything, I'm the most confrontational person ever. But I choose my battles wisely. I don't want to fight over no Golden Corral pipe. I promise you I don't. I really don't. So she comes inside and she starts talking to him. And I leave. I call my Uber. I'm outside waiting in the hallway. I call my Uber. It's good. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to be with the big Punisher anyway. And that is why I don't talk to fat niggas. I'm fat, you fat, I'm good. I'm straight. Y'all sneaky as fuck. So yeah, I went home. He tried to message me again. You know that won't happen again. First of all, that wasn't even the reason. You took me to Golden Corral. You made me eat hospital food. I'm good. Did I go on another Tinder date? Yes, I did. Thank you. Thank you for listening to my story time.
Not again, not again. Every single day, without fail, I am presented with a new set of information and new stories about men from dating apps that would make any woman who is still currently using dating apps like Hinge want to delete them faster than the speed of light, join a convent, and stay single for all of eternity. What I'm about to share with you guys, a story that I was just sent from a friend of mine, is so diabolical that I just have no words. Before I begin, I just want to say, and I'm sure that you guys are tired of hearing this phrase that's been floating around this app from different creators, dating apps will quite literally have you meeting people that you were never meant to meet, putting you in situations that you were never supposed to be in, and the universe will teach you why every time. I have my laptop here, and I'm just going to summarize this story and the text I was sent to the best of my ability for you guys. Basically, a friend of mine and her friend said that they saw my video that I made last week that went pretty viral about men from dating apps, and an account I found about a man who shares all of his experiences trying to sleep with women that he meets on dating apps on the first date. That's diabolical enough, but this is pure psychopath vibes. Like, I have no words. I'm just gonna get into it. So anyways, she matches with this man on Hinge. He's 35 years old. She said that she gave him her number and they talked on the phone for an hour and they had a great conversation. He made her laugh, and she even FaceTimed him for a few minutes and said that he was really good looking, had a good job, seemed really smart, so she agreed to go on a dinner date with him that he planned. The night that he planned the dinner date for, she had a work function prior, so she agreed to meet him at the restaurant after her work function. And she said she got to the restaurant, it was like 8:30. They had a great date, great conversation. They had a few glasses of wine, and they actually even stayed until the restaurant closed and they were told to leave. So she was like over the moon, had a great night with this guy. And he said, let's go for a little walk. And she's like, yeah, of course, but like it has to be a quick walk because I work the next day. They go on this walk. 15 minutes in, she says, listen, I really have to go home. I have work tomorrow. I wish this night didn't have to end. If it were a weekend, it would be another story. He says, no, let's go to a bar and get another drink. And she said, it's a weeknight. I really have to get home. He says, okay, how about I get you an Uber? She said at this point, there were no other red flags, no other inklings of misconduct, and he seemed just genuinely interested in her and wanted to spend more time with her. But unfortunately, she had to work the next day, and if it were a weekend, it would be another story. She can go get another drink with him. He was normal. He seemed like a gentleman. He paid the bill. He opened the doors. He did all the right things. She said her experience with him up until this point was reason enough to trust him to let him get her an Uber home. What could go wrong? And see, this should be a nice thing that men offer to do to get you home from a date safely via rideshare, but I guess not. I guess we have to be more careful with doing that now. And she said that she had been away from her office for hours and she hadn't charged her phone in hours. Her phone was on less than 10%. Also, he already knew where she lived because her building came up in a previous conversation that they had. Anyways, he confirmed her place of residence with her and he called the Uber and he waited for the Uber to get there. He escorted her into the Uber, gave her a kiss on the cheek, didn't even try to kiss her on the lips. She said he was such a gentleman. Anyways, she gets in the Uber. They get on their way. He stays behind. She asks the Uber driver for a charger. She starts looking at her phone until she realizes she is not going in the direction of her home. And she looks at the Uber's navigation that is in the front seat and sees that it is 3 minutes away from the destination that he's going to. She's saying this isn't correct. And he never sent her a screenshot or anything saying where he called the Uber to. So she is trying to call him and he doesn't pick up. And then the Uber driver gets to the building and she was like, wait, this is where he lives. Did he do this on accident? So she's calling him again. She's standing in front of the building and is about to call an Uber, and he walks up to her and goes, you said you didn't want the night to end. And she's like, what? You called an Uber to your house? You called me an Uber to your house? And he's like, yeah, you said you didn't want the night to end, so the night's not going to end. You can sleep by me. We can just go to sleep. She said that she was panic-stricken. Her heart was pounding. Her fingers were shaking as she was trying to call an Uber. And he was inching closer to her saying, let's just go upstairs. You could take off your heels. I'll give you comfortable clothes. I'll pour you another glass of wine. We could watch a movie or just go to sleep, and I'll take you home first thing in the morning. Don't you want to do that? You said you didn't want the night to end. I don't want the night to end either. I don't see what the problem is. You think I'm just going to let you go that easily? Yeah, what he did is super illegal. That is quite literally false imprisonment. So if a man ever tries to do something like that to you, call the police immediately. Stat. Anyways, she said she was so terrified about the comment he made about not letting her get away that easily. And she was so frozen in time, couldn't move or speak, but she didn't know if she should scream or run and couldn't bring herself to do those things. The more silent she was, the angrier he got. He was talking crazy, saying, you want to spend more time with me. I'm making it a reality. I guess you're just this ungrateful. You're letting a great night go to waste. I'm going on vacation, so you won't see me for a bit unless you go upstairs with me right now or just never see me again. You probably don't even make a lot of money at your stupid job anyways. I could change your life tomorrow, but you won't let me. This is why you're single, and called her a bitch. Her Uber got there. She got in. She started crying, blocked him, reported him on Hinge, which I feel like that's nothing. Like, because apparently there's all these ways that you can get around being banned on Hinge, and you could literally just make a new account with a new number or new email. This is so insane. Like, I have no words. I have like anxiety for her. Like, this sounds so traumatizing. Being banned from Hinge literally is not enough. He should be banned from society. Said that he was going away for a while. Sounds like he should be going to jail. He should be put behind bars. Like, or you might meet a good guy, decent guy on a dating app once in a while, but what people don't understand is that these dating apps are hunting grounds for narcissists, for predators, for abusers, and you need to be so careful. And the best thing to do is just delete them. So go and delete your dating apps if you are still on them. I don't know what's going to convince you guys. Just be so careful. This is so crazy. I also want to say God was on her side in that situation. She had guardian angels right there with her, protecting her, making sure nothing happened to her. But most women do not get that lucky in situations like that, and that's what I really want to stress and emphasize to you guys.
If you think your dating life is bad, let me tell you a story. Okay, let me tell you a story. See that back there? That's a suitcase. On Monday, I drove 3.5 hours to go visit a guy because he's in the army and he just never could come visit me. Whatever. So I drive out there to go spend time with him and be close that I can see him every day for 5 days. I come over, he makes me dinner the first night, burnt the dinner to a crisp. Nothing against it. Most men can't cook. Not surprised. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to make dinner tomorrow night. So tomorrow, the next day, I just go drive around and I go grocery shopping and I get like $30 worth of groceries to make like a chicken garlic parm dinner. I go back to his place for 2 hours. I am cooking so that the house smells good when he gets home and that he has something hot and ready to eat when he gets home. So I make this dinner. I prepare it in the oven. Doesn't want to eat when he gets home right away, which, like, whatever. He's like, I'm going to go work out and then I'm going to eat. And I was like, cool. So he goes and works out. He comes out and we eat dinner. Does not say thank you for cooking the food. He does not say thank you for buying the food. And he doesn't even really compliment. He was just like, at the end, it was like, oh, it was good. That was it. And so then I do the dishes and I clean up. He kind of piddles in there a little bit and then like dries and puts away the dishes. And I was like, okay, well, maybe he had a long day at work. You know what? I have no idea. He's in the army. Who knows? Who knows what kind of day he had? So I was like, okay, I'll try again tomorrow. So the next day I go out and I get more groceries. I buy the groceries. I go back and I make dinner. He comes home a little early and he goes straight to his bedroom. Straight to his bedroom. And I'm like, okay. So I wait an hour and a half and I'm like, well, he's still not out here. So I'm going to make dinner and eat because I'm hungry. And it's like 6:30 at the time. And I was like, okay, I'm making dinner. So I make a quesadilla for me. I make extra and put it in the microwave for him. He comes out like 45 minutes later after I finish eating. I've already washed my dish and put it away. And I'm just sitting on the couch talking to a friend. He literally, I was like, hey, dinner, I made dinner, it's in the microwave for you. And he was like, cool. Goes in, grabs it, literally walks right back to his bedroom. right back to his bedroom and sits in there and eats the quesadillas that I made by himself. And I know I'm really worked up about it because right now it is 10:30 at night and I am going home a day early because I'm not doing this. I'm going to be home at 1 a.m. I don't care. So he comes back out and I was like, so what'd you think of it? And he was like, it was good. Tasted like an actual quesadilla. It tasted like an actual quesadilla because it was an actual quesadilla, okay? It was an actual quesadilla. I was like, okay, whatever. It's fine. I'm not making dinner tomorrow night. I'm just not doing it. I'm not spending more money on this ungrateful man. So he comes back from work and he's like, hey, what you been doing? You just been chilling today? I'm like, yep, just been chilling. Calling people back home, they're checking in on me, whatever. And he was like, okay, I didn't know if you made dinner or anything. I'm like, I made dinner. No, I did not. So I was like, do you want to watch a movie tonight? And he was like, well, I think I'm going to just work out and make some dinner. And I was like, okay, cool. So he works out, he burns something in the kitchen for dinner. And I'm literally like waiting to see if he's done and we can watch a movie. He goes back to his bedroom like a troll, like a hermit. And so I go and I sit on the couch and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to watch a movie. So I walk out there to go sit on the couch and select a movie. And I hear this man in his bedroom talking to another woman. And I literally have the receipts on this, but he's literally in his bedroom playing a game, talking to another woman. And like the first night that I came over, he was like, I'm going to go back and play my game. And I'm like, I wonder if he's just been talking to this chick the whole time. So I was like, I was on the phone with my friend. I said, you know what? I'm leaving. I'm going to just make up some crappy story and I'm leaving. So I packed up all my stuff. I put it by the door and I knocked on his door and I hear him, oh, hold on a second. Somebody's knocking at my door. I'm going to hang up and I'll call you back. I'm like, somebody's me, that person that drove 3.5 hours and took time off work where she could have been earning money to spend time with you. Yeah, that's that someone. So he opens the door and I'm like, hey, my mom's having a medical emergency. She's in the ER. I gotta go home. Total lie. Super fabricated. I mean, I really should have just told him straight up that I think you're boring. I think you have no manners. And why are you talking to another girl in your bedroom? Like, while one is sitting on the couch, literally in your own home. So yeah, I am currently driving home. I am set to arrive at around 1:30 a.m. back in Mississippi. I'm so sick of dating. I'm so sick of dating because I don't know what it is about me, but I just attract the douchiest men. Like, the douchiest men. And this is terrible. At least I have enough self-worth, I think, to leave. I'm not gonna stick around. But, like, at the same time, why does this keep happening? What did I do? What did I do wrong? I was never messy. I cleaned his house while he was at work. I swept the floors. I cleaned the kitchen. I cleaned the plastic he burnt off his stove the night before. I cleaned his bathroom. Like, what am I doing wrong? And I'm like, I might be doing too much, honestly. I might be doing too much. It's not that I'm not doing enough. But, like, I'm a traditional kind of gal. Like, you open the door for me. You carry my bags. Like, you say thank you if I cook for you. You should want to spend time with me. Otherwise, I don't know why we're even considering dating. Like, this is just, it's bad. It's bad. Anyways, that's my rant. So if you think your dating life sucks, mine's probably worse. It's not that bad because I always get out of it, but, like, this keeps happening. This keeps happening. And this one is the worst because I actually drove here. He would not even come to visit me. He would not come to visit me first. And I drove here. I spent my gas. I spent my money on groceries. I spent my time cooking and cleaning. And yeah, this is what it has amounted to. So I blocked him, so he's hopefully not going to see this video. But if he does, dude, you got to step up your game because you suck. You are boring. We're so boring. And you need some serious manners, and I don't think you're ready to date because I don't think you know how to treat a woman, or you're just a player and a cheater. So, yeah, I'm disgusted with dating. So the next guy that takes me on a date better impress me, or I might be an old hag that lives by herself with her farm animals. I'm just like, I was literally shaking when I knocked on his door and I was picking up my bag sleeve because I was, like, so upset. I was like, this is bad. This is bad. So, yeah. That is my fun story. I wish it was fake, but I don't even think I have the creative juices to create something like that in my head. But yeah, dating sucks.
I almost got murdered today, and this is what happened. I matched with this guy on Bumble. We talk, like, exchange a few messages back and forth, and then we switch to WhatsApp. We decided to go on a date, so he planned one for today. When I asked him to send me what bar we're going to, he sent me a postcode, and he was like, meet here. So I googled the postcode, and I put on maps, and it was like flats. There was like a residential street. So I was like, what is this? I don't want to meet here. Like, can we just meet at the bar? No, he was like, no, just meet me here. We can walk together. And I was like, can I just please meet you at the bar? And again, he was just like, just meet me here. Obviously, I was still going to go to the bar. He eventually told me the bar's name. And I am coming, well, I was supposed to be in the office today, so I would have been coming from wherever my office is. And he chose a place that's like an hour away by tube. And it's a Tuesday, so I didn't really want to do that. I was like, that's too far. I don't want to be back late and then end up having to take like a really expensive Uber back to my house. And he was like, it's not far at all. Like, just walk across the bridge and then you can tube. It's one stop, which it wasn't. It would still take me about an hour to get there. So I was like, no, can we just meet somewhere in the middle so that we can both travel? It's not just like, I don't know. It's because he lives in that area that he wanted to do that he chose the bar in. He was adamant on not changing the location, and he was just like, why are you making such a big deal out of it? It's not a big deal. The Uber's not expensive. He like looked up the price, and he was like, it's only £15, which it would not be, because from my house to like the bar by Uber would be like probably £30, especially late at night. There was a bit of back and forth, and then I was like, okay, you know what, let's just reschedule for a different day, because this is obviously like not working, and now we're just like in a bit of a fight, so it's just weird and awkward, and maybe we shouldn't even go on a date. I didn't say that part. But anyways, he was like, well, I can't now because I've had to put my credit card down, and they're gonna charge me if I cancel the reservation because it's less than 24 hours. I went onto the website of the bar and I clicked reserve a table. You did not have to put your credit card down. I could easily you just have to fill out your name, and that's it. And something told me to reverse image search his pictures, and I used this website. It's called facecheck.id, and it basically is like reverse image search for social profiles and stuff. I put his picture in there, and it comes up with this like fitness gym model based in Germany. I live in London. So I was like, okay. And it had a completely different name. And all the pictures that were on his profile were taken from that person's profile. So at that point, I was like, okay, what the hell? So he wanted to meet me. This random postcode, not the bar. Random postcode, looked like a residential street. I'm assuming it was his place. He was adamant on not changing the location. He specifically wanted to meet there, and he would not meet me halfway. He lied about the credit card, putting it down. And then he's not even real. So I don't know what the intention was. I don't know what would have happened if I went. And it's supposed to be in a few hours. So I obviously have not done anything. I screenshotted the profile, the fitness model's Instagram, and I sent it to him. But now I'm really scared, actually. So I reported him on Bumble. I'm going to block him on WhatsApp before he even responds, because I don't know what would have happened, but everything is just like alarm bells. And there, I'm pretty sure that would have been the last day that I was seen alive. So yeah, that is how I almost got killed.
I just had the worst, most awkward, terrible Tinder date of my life, and I just need to like talk about it real quick because this is insane. So I started talking to this guy literally today. We matched on Tinder today, and he was messaging me and like was pretty adamant. Like I didn't answer him at first, and then like he messaged me again. So I was like, whatever, like I'll give him a chance. Like, sure. So he's messaging me and basically is like, oh, like add me on Snapchat. I deleted my Snapchat and my Instagram. Long story, but I basically was like, oh, I don't have Snapchat, like you can text me. So I gave him my number and he starts texting me, And basically off the bat, he was like, I really want to see you. Like, what are you doing later? Like, let's go to the movies. Let's go on a date. And like, he seemed so nice. He was so cute. On his Tinder bio, it said he was in finance. He's 6 feet. He had a bunch of pictures. He was like verified. So real person. Like, I was like, okay, like, sure, let's go on a date. And he sent me like the movie and everything, and basically I was like, yeah, like I'm down, like let's do it. And he was like, awesome, like bought the tickets, like I'll see you tonight, blah blah. And then we were planning out like when we wanted to meet, if we wanted to meet like prior, all this stuff. We talked like all day basically. And so it finally came to like before we were going, and he tells me that his car is in the shop and he has to Uber, and it would be really nice if I wanted to pick him up. Instant fucking red flag. I should have just ran then. Don't know why I didn't. I was already in deep enough. I was just like, yeah, no, like we should just meet there, like just Uber. So he's like fine with that, whatever. So he Ubers there, I'm driving, and he gets there like a few minutes before me. So I call him when I pull in. I'm like, hey, I just got here. We got there like an hour early because we wanted to meet up and like talk and stuff before. I wanted to like get to know him, because when you're at a movie, you can't talk and get to know the person. I'm so stupid for all of this. In hindsight, like I see this now. Anyway, I call him. I'm like, oh, like, do you want to like come in my car and like we can like hang out in here and like talk before the movie or whatever? And he's like, yeah, sure, like I'll come out, just park wherever. Thank God I park literally right front and center, like under the lights. There's people outside, there's people in their cars, like, so I'm parked right front and center. He gets in my car and like all is like fine, and we're talking, whatever. And I basically like had to tell him. So before I left my house, I realized I had a cold sore on my lip, whatever. Like a lot of people get them. I've gotten them ever since I was a little kid. I don't know, but I know they're contagious, and I know it's basically herpes or whatever. So I had to tell him. And it was like the worst thing to have to tell someone on a first date. And I was so nervous. I was so scared. And I'm like, if you want to leave now, like if you're all set, like I get it, like don't worry. I was like, I swear I don't have any other diseases. Like this is it. I have a cold sore and I have to tell you, because like, yeah, like if we kiss, you know, like obviously we can't. And he's like laughing. He's like, you're so cute. He's like, no, like I don't care. I actually just got over one myself. Like it's fine. Like I want to kiss you. And I was like, oh, like, okay. I was like, your choice, you know? And he's like, can I kiss you? And I was like, sure. Mind you, we literally were only talking for like 5 minutes, not even. Anyways, he starts kissing me, keeps kissing me, and like grabs my leg, and I'm like, oh God, like, okay, this is not like, not what I imagined. So I kind of pull away. I started a different conversation. We started talking. He's just acting like really weird. Like he was like kind of annoyed that I like pulled out of the kiss. And so I asked him like, oh, like what happened to your car? Like why is it in the shop? And he starts being so weird and like moving around. He's like, yeah, like actually it's really embarrassing. I lost my license on the 4th of July. I got a DUI, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, like in my head, I'm like, okay, this guy already lied to me about something like this. Like this is just that I already have awful vibes about this. Anyways, we get over that, and he just keeps like wanting to make out and like kiss, and I'm like I just feel like I have to, like it was a really awkward situation. And then he starts grabbing my hand and putting it, I'm sure you can guess where, and I basically had to pull away and like tell him like, I just want to like get this out of the way now. I'm not trying to do all that, you know, like no. And his whole demeanor changed. He completely changes, and he's basically tells me like that's all he wanted. Like that's why he came tonight. That's why he did all this, because he was expecting that. And I like had to tell him no, like sorry. And before this too, he was telling me that I should move parking spots or whatever, and I wouldn't. And even after me telling him that I'm not doing all that, he still kept trying to get me to move my car to like the back of the theater where it's like completely dark, and he's just acting really off and really weird. And instantly I'm just getting like awful vibes. Like I'm just like, and then he starts like gaslighting me, telling me that I led him on. Huh? Like, I'm so sorry for agreeing to go to the movies with you and I wouldn't pick you up. Like, I didn't even argue with him because I'm like, if I get this man angry, like, who knows what's gonna happen. I mean, thank God I'm right in front of the theater under the lights and like there's people around, so. But he was like making jokes too, because like I had a nice car. He's like, because I kept saying like, oh, like, I hope you don't kill me, like I hope you're not a murderer. And he's like, yeah, I could like literally kill you right now and like take your car, like you have a nice car, blah blah. And like, I don't know, maybe it was just jokes, like, because I was joking about it, but felt really off to me. And you could tell he was like really pissed off that and he kept trying to get me to like want to do stuff with him and like he was like, oh, like maybe we can still go see the movie. Mind you, I did check before I went and we would have been the only two people in that movie. Like, I had awful vibes. I was like, no. I'm like, I don't want to waste your time. Like, your time's valuable. And he's like sulking. He's like, my time's not valuable. Like, I'm like, okay, you clearly are a psychopath and you clearly have no self-esteem and you probably will just kill me. Like, I don't even know if I can post this because I can't say all this stuff. Whatever, I'm posting it. But yeah, so basically I started crying and was just trying to make him feel as bad as possible because I'm like, I don't want this guy to kill me right now. Like he was being really weird. Like there's so much I could explain, but I had so many red flags. Thank God I had my like smarts about me and whatever, like this could have ended so much worse. He basically was like, oh, like, will you at least wait for me, like my Uber to get here? And I was like, yeah, like sure, like I'm not gonna like piss you off anymore. Like his Uber got there and like whatever, he's gone. I'm low-key kind of scared. I'm like, is there a tracker in my car? Is there something? Like I don't know. I'm just gonna pray all is fine, I'm okay. But if I wake up dead tomorrow, y'all know what happened. But I shouldn't even joke like that. But anyway, I'm never going on another date again. And that's just that. Sorry, he ruined it for everyone. Okay, good night, bye. I'm happy to be alive.
If you're not already scared of dating apps, you might be. After today's video, we're going to be talking about Grace Mullane. This was in New Zealand in 2018. This was actually a request from one of you guys, which is crazy. I kind of forget that TikTok is like all over the world, and I have people commenting from New Zealand, from Australia, from the UK, which is so awesome. There's a lot of talk of SA and violent abuse throughout this, so if you don't think that that is good for your mental health, please don't watch it. I'll try and make a video one of these days without the mention of that, but unfortunately that is mentioned in so many of these cases. So this happens in New Zealand, but Grace is actually from England. She lived there with her mom, dad, and 2 brothers. She had just graduated in 2018 and decided she wanted to go off and travel the world, so she went off on a backpacking trip from October all the way to June. She started off in Peru, I believe, and I'm pretty sure New Zealand was the final stop. So she would contact her family every single day, sending different pictures of things she was doing, things she was seeing. They knew everywhere she was going. So November 30th, she landed in, I believe it's pronounced Auckland. I'm sorry, guys, this might come as a shock to you. English is not my first language. Sometimes I do have an accent, sometimes I don't. Don't yell at me, I'm trying my best. But she arrives in Auckland and she is staying at a hostel. Prior to checking into the hostel, she had been island hopping around New Zealand, but she decides to check in the hostel. She's going to chill out for a few days, decides to download Tinder, and this is when she matches with a guy named Jesse Kempson. The next day, Jesse asked Grace if she would want to meet up. She isn't super into it at first, but then she agrees to go and get drinks at a place called Sky City. December 1st is the day of their date. So they go out to get dinner and drinks. December 2nd was her 22nd birthday. So the morning after, her family and her friends, everyone's reaching out to her, happy birthday wishes. She's not responding. The time difference between the US and New Zealand is a big one, so they're not getting very concerned yet. They figured she's out doing something fun and she'll respond later. However, December 3rd comes and there's still silence. December 4th is when her family officially reported her as missing to the city of Auckland. So Grace is now officially missing. December 7th, her dad flies out to New Zealand and he starts helping the police with the investigation. They're looking at the cameras from her hostel. They see that she left the night of December 1st to go out on her date, but she never returned. So they start looking into her social media and they see that the night she went missing, she posted a selfie. A guy commented and said, "Beautiful, very radiant," which weird timing because then she was never seen again. But they see his name, it's Jesse. They decide, oh, he's probably friends with her. It's probably some guy that she met here. Let's call him up and see if he knows anything. They leave a voicemail for Jesse. Jesse calls back the next day, says that he does know her, that they did go on a date, and later that day he comes in for questioning. He's very helpful, very respectful, doesn't seem panicked at all, just sits there and is happy to help police and answer any questions they have. He's being questioned. He tells police they matched on Tinder, they went on a date, went out to this burger place, and he says that he specifically chose that place because it's a very public area and he didn't know if he was going to get catfished or not. Which, when you know what he did and when you know what information he was holding and all the things that he knew that he did while he's sitting there saying that he didn't want to get catfished, is gross. Anyway, the date was awesome. They were having a lot of fun. Grace actually texted one of her friends while she was on the date and said, "I click with him so well." And she's very excited about this guy, obviously. And the friend texts her back. Grace says, "I'll tell you how it goes tomorrow." Jesse then tells the police that around 9:40 p.m. the date ended. They ended the night with a kiss, a nice to meet you, a kiss on the cheek, not in the mouth. Nice to meet you. And then he ended up going to a different bar, getting drinks by himself, and then went back to the hotel, got drinks at the hotel bar, and went to bed. He says he woke up around 9-10 in the morning the next day, very hungover, and police are like, all right, I mean, we don't have anything to disprove his story, so I guess he must be telling the truth. So up until then, Jesse had been very honest, very put together, nothing suspicious, until the police ask him if he's willing to take a lie detector test, and he says, "Am I being arrested for something I didn't do?" Kind of a weird reaction, Mr. Jesse. I keep saying hotel because he lived at a hotel. Later on, closer to the trial, it comes out that he was just a big fat liar about random things that didn't matter, about his job, about his siblings' jobs, about his family, about where he lived. He apparently also was obsessed with dating apps. He would meet up with girls all the time and lie to them about everything. He even told a girl that he had cancer one time. Police get the camera footage from the hotel, more specifically from the hotel elevator, where they see the morning after their date, Jesse is in the elevator. He makes eye contact with the camera at one point at 8 in the morning, but he told police that he was asleep and hungover until like 9 or 10. He's seen leaving at 8 in the morning and then he comes back with his suitcase. So the cops are like, "Hey, you said you woke up at 10, but actually you left at 8 and came back with a suitcase. Why did you do that?" And he's like, "Oh, yeah, I guess I must have." And it's like, "The suitcase is upstairs, so you can go look at it. There's nothing in there. You can go look at the suitcase." And the cops are like, now they're suspicious, of course. They get a search warrant to search his hotel, and at first sight, it doesn't look like anything is out of the ordinary, but they bring in luminol. When they do that with the UV light and they see luminol is shining all over the room, there is blood and footprints all over. December 8th, a Saturday, almost a week after Grace being missing, Jesse is now arrested on the suspicion of her murder. Now he thinks, "I'm gonna confess." And wait until you hear his confession. So Jesse talks about their date. They went to a burger place, got dinner and drinks. They went to a Mexican restaurant, got more drinks, then another bar, got more drinks. And there's camera footage of them at every single place. And the most eerie thing is that in the camera footage, they look like they're having the best time. I mean, Grace is all over him. They're so touchy-feely, hugging, kissing, which is also so sad because that meant that Grace felt so comfortable with him to be having that much fun and just enjoying herself the day before her birthday. To then find out what actually happened is devastating. They're seen going back to Jesse's hotel. He has his arm around her. They're holding hands. Like, it looks like it's going great. He says they get back to his hotel room and they start kissing, smooching. Grace brings up 50 Shades of Grey. She mentions how she's into the type of actions that are in 50 Shades of Grey, like kinky, aggressive, control, that kind of intimate activity. And this is, again, Jesse's story. They are starting to get more and more into it. Grace asks him to bite her, and then he asks her to choke her. And then he says that they finish what they're doing. He then gets up, goes to the shower, falls asleep in the shower, and then comes back into bed and just goes to bed. Which, I'll just say this now, later in the trial, it comes out that when he went to the shower and fell asleep, he actually wasn't sleeping. He was looking up adult videos, if you know what I'm saying. So Jesse wakes up. He says that when he woke up, he thought that Grace actually left because he didn't see her, but then he sees her body on the floor with blood coming out of her nose. He says he was in complete shock. He actually went to go dial 911, but then realized, oh, this probably will look bad on me, so he didn't dial 911. And once he realized that she was dead, he freaked out. He left at 8 in the morning, which is when he was seen in the elevator, which he says he was freaking out, but if you see the footage, which you should look up, he looks so weirdly calm. So he leaves, he comes back, he has rented a car, and has bought a suitcase. So he's seen going back in the elevator with a suitcase. He then tells the police that this is when he stuffed Grace's body in the suitcase, and he's talking about this as if it was really traumatizing for him. He says while he was shoving her body in the suitcase, he kept saying, "I'm sorry." He didn't say this, but we know this now from the camera footage the police ended up finding, but he also went to go buy a carpet cleaning machine. He stayed in his hotel room until around 6 in the morning, then left with 2 suitcases. He loaded the suitcases to his car. He went to go buy a shovel, then went to a car cleaning place, cleaned his car, then went to a dry cleaning place, got his clothes cleaned, and he was gone for around 3 hours, and then he was seen returning with a whole different outfit and no shoes. After he did his whole cleanup job, he is seen returning with 2 suitcases, which the cops were confused because they now know that in one of the suitcases he left with was Grace's body, so how come he's coming back with 2 suitcases? They ask him, and he says he actually bought another suitcase, so that's why he was offering to the cops, oh yeah, my suitcase is upstairs, you guys can look at it, because it was a brand new suitcase, because he had already hidden the one with Grace's body. After confessing the real story, which who knows, because this guy is just such a liar, he lies about everything, but after saying that, he took the police to where he hid Grace's body, which was a wooded area around 20 miles out, and then he was finally arrested. In the trial, Jesse pleads not guilty. He's holding on to his story that it was a tragic accident. He's blaming Grace, saying she's the one who wanted it, she asked me to bite her, she asked me to choke her, it was an accident, it's not my fault that the choking led to that. And his lawyers are obviously backing him up, saying she wanted it, it's not his fault. Which, let me just say, the autopsy, her official cause of death was strangulation, and it takes between 5 to 10 minutes of constant strangulation to lead to death. It's not an accident. It's 5 to 10 minutes of obviously a lot of pressure to the neck for that to happen. That just, no. It later also comes out that he took pictures of Grace after she was dead. He took those pictures of her, and then he started Googling, while he was in the shower falling asleep, he started Googling where he could hide her body. And then he also got on Tinder, scheduled another date to go the day after Grace died. So as Grace's body is in his hotel room, he goes on a date. The girl ends up saying that he was really weird, really creepy, and said very uncomfortable, weird things about how all day he was looking for a suitcase to put his sports gear in, and telling her that his friends are police and the police are having a hard time finding missing people, but that you can't find someone's dead body if it's 4 feet underneath the ground. Like, just weird things like that. On the first date, the girl is like, you were literally a weirdo. What are you doing? And so creepy to think that I'm sure many of us have gone on dates and been like, this guy's really weird, and then not thought about it. But like, this girl went on a Tinder date, thought this guy's really weird, I'm not going to talk to him again. And then found out that actually during that date, he had a dead body of a girl that he took on a date in his hotel room. Like, just crazy. Anyway, he was found guilty and got life in prison with a minimum of 17 years. That is the heartbreaking story of Grace Millane. So sad, so scary, and also just traumatic. I don't know. Be safe out there, my girls, and I love you all. Let me know what you think, and if you have any other suggestions.
I have debated telling this story for a few days, but all of my friends are literally like, this story is so wild, you need to put this on TikTok. This also just happened this past weekend, so I am still processing what exactly happened. This isn't really a dating horror story in the sense that something bad happened, it's just The weirdest thing that's ever happened to me. So a little bit of backstory. About 3-ish weeks ago, maybe a month ago, this guy and I met on Hinge. This guy and I start talking and we just initially clicked. Like, I don't know what it was, but we just started talking. It was definitely like an instant connection, right? Okay, so I live in Las Vegas. So he tells me that he is going through the process of getting into the firefighter academy out here in Vegas. And before you say anything, I know this was my first red flag. And he actually lives in the Los Angeles area, but he's coming out here. His dad lives out here. That's a key part of the story. He's coming out here to do like the last final things that you do before you go into the academy. And so he is out here this upcoming weekend for that reason. And so we agreed to link up and meet for a drink on Sunday night. And it was one of those first dates that you kind of leave and you're like on a high. Like, everything was so good. We had like an immediate connection, an immediate spark. And sincerely, that does not happen to me often. I don't date a lot in general. So I leave this first date, like I said, on a high. He kisses me goodnight. He's a great kisser. I'm like, this is fantastic. So he's driving back to LA the next day, and before he leaves, he stops by my house. He gives me a kiss and a hug goodbye, and he's like, I can't wait to see you again. Like, I'm so excited about you. And for the next 2 weeks when he was supposed to come out here, we are talking, texting, on the phone every single day, every single night. So like a week before he's supposed to come out here again and do like his last exam or whatever it is, I asked him, I said, you know, instead of staying at your dad's house, like, why don't you just stay with me that weekend? I know, okay? He's like, that would be great. So, you know, we can spend a lot more time together, get to know each other that whole weekend, whatever. So we're talking about him coming out here this weekend, and he's very much into sports. And so he's like, yeah, you know, like, I want to watch the game this weekend. And I said, well, I don't have a TV. Like, I just don't have a TV in my house. And he like makes a joke that he's gonna have to buy a TV in order for him to watch the game this weekend. And I think it's like a hee hee ha ha joke. I'm like, oh yeah, whatever. Okay, so Saturday comes. He's flying out here this time, and the flight's only like 45 minutes to an hour from Vegas. 1 hour before he boards his plane, this man literally texts me out of nowhere, and he's like, okay, I bought the TV from Target. It's ready for pickup.
What? Wait!
Said, huh? What? Huh? He was like, yeah, you know, I told you, like, sports are really important to me. It's like how I relax. I watch the games like every weekend. And I was like, you bought a TV to put in my house. So I'm kind of just like, okay, all right, I guess. I sent him a picture of my living room, and I'm like, where are you gonna put it? You either need to buy a TV stand or like mount it on the wall or something. And we go back and forth, and he's like, I don't really want to spend the money on a TV stand. Like, we're just gonna mount it to the wall. And I'm like, okay. Anyway, so I'm getting like a little weirded out because that's, you know, a little odd. I don't know how the topic of finances got brought up. Oh, I think it had to do with the TV stand because he didn't want to spend the money on a TV stand. So somehow now we're talking about money and how we're gonna have like, you know, kind of a relaxing, like more chill weekend. And then he drops the bomb on me that we're gonna split everything this weekend, including dinner tonight. We're not going anywhere fancy, okay? We're going out for all you can eat $30 sushi. This man just bought a TV to put on my wall, and now he's telling me he can't afford to buy me sushi. So now I'm going from being a little bit weirded out by the TV to like full on panicking, like, halt the brakes, hold on. Now he's on the plane, on his way here, okay? As this is all going down, he says to me, he says, the TV's ready for pickup if you want to go get it. What the fuck? Dude, huh? I am panicking, okay? I live with a roommate. She's also my best friend, and I'm texting her full panic mode. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. I don't know what to do. And honest to God, God love my best friend because she was my rock and my calm in this situation. She was like, don't panic. Like, just pick him up and let's figure it out when you get back to the house. So I picked this man up from the airport, right? And obviously, like, my energy has shifted a little bit at this point, but I'm trying to like stay positive in this weird situation. He wants to stop by his dad's house before we go pick up the TV at Target. Not only was I this man's Airbnb this weekend, I was also apparently his Uber now. And on the way to Target, I'm driving there and I'm just like, help me! This happened so fast, I didn't even have time to like freak out and be like, whoa, hold on! So we get back to my house, okay? He meets my roommate, unloads a TV. For the next 3 hours, this man is mounting a TV on my wall. His TV on my wall. Sitting there on the couch drinking wine, watching him mount his TV to my wall.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
And we did not go get dinner, by the way, because I'm not about to split the bill with you, bud. We did get Chick-fil-A, and he did pay for that, so, you know. At this point, for my roommate, this is comedy. You know what I mean? She's got like a front row seat to a shit show, and she's enjoying it. So after, 3 hours goes by, and he's mounting the TV on my fucking wall, I'm a little wine drunk, and now I'm pissed off. And I'm kind of like, let's just go to bed. Like, I'm tired. So it is Sunday morning. Okay, bright and early. I'm not a morning person. All right, let me just say that. Bright and early at 6:30 a.m. This man wakes up to come downstairs to watch the game at 6:30 a.m. in my house. The whole morning, I am just pissed. The whole time, he's on my couch watching the game. This man has barely paid attention to me. The whole I can't wait to spend time with you, get to know you has gone out the window. Now it's like 10 a.m. Okay, I'm downstairs in the kitchen. My roommate's down there. He's on the couch. And I made breakfast for all of us because I'm a nice person. My roommate goes to a workout class, all right, after breakfast. And I kind of take this as my opportunity to like sit down with him on the couch. And I'm like, look, this is not how I thought this weekend was gonna go. And the only thing you seem to be concerned with is this TV and sports. You've barely looked at me. I will say, during this conversation, he was very nice, he was very polite. He's like, I'm sorry. He's like, I've just been so stressed out lately, and like sports is how I wind down, so I just wanted to watch it this week, whatever. And so, you know, I very kindly and gently was like, you know, you gotta pack up your shit and go to your dad's. He was like, I understand, all good. I took him to his dad's, dropped him off, you know, cause I'm the Uber. TV's still on my wall, so he's gotta come get that. I've officially given up dating. All right, this is my white flag. In surrender. I'm good. No more.
A long time ago, I had matched with this guy on Tinder, and he seemed really normal and really nice, and he asked me on a date after talking for a few days, and we had decided that we would meet up halfway between our houses, and the way that we decided this was that he asked me where I lived, and I gave him the general neighborhood that I lived in, and he just found a place that was approximately halfway between our neighborhoods. And so when I get there, I realized when I was mapping it out that it was a lot closer to his house than to my house. It was like a 40-minute drive for me, and it was like 20 minutes for him, if that. And so I was giving him shit about it when I got there, of course. I was like, wow, nice of you to pick a place that's closer to you. I thought we were doing halfway. And he was like, no, it's definitely halfway. I'm sure of it. And I was like, well, it's not, but whatever. He's like, no, I'm so sure of it. And he wouldn't let it go. So he was like, watch, give me your address. I will prove it to you right now because I would never set you up like that. And so I give him my address. He puts it in and he's like, oh, yeah, it's a lot closer to my house. I didn't realize it was 40 minutes from you. I'm so sorry. Let me go get you a drink. And so he gets me a drink and we have a really good night. Actually, we really hit it off. I really liked the guy. And at the end of the night, he was being a little bit pushy about coming over to my house. And I was like, not really vibing with that. It's not something that I want to do on a first date. And obviously, like, I'm thinking you want to, you know, I know what you want to do if you want to come over. That was stupid. And so I was like, no, I'm okay. But he was very pushy about it. And so I was like, okay, you can come over, but we're only watching a movie. And I'm very serious about that. Like, if you're coming over, we're hanging out. And that's literally it. And so he was like, okay, no problem. And so he comes over and that's genuinely what we do. We watch a movie and we hang out. And at the end of the night, he's getting ready to go and he's looking at me while I'm sitting on the couch. He's like, you know, I'm really glad that you allowed me to come over tonight. And I was like, ugh, me too, actually. It's been a really good night. I really enjoyed hanging out with you. And he was like, yeah, I was going to come over either way. And I was like, what? Because he was straight facing it. He wasn't like, it didn't sound like a joke. I was like, what do you mean by that? And he said, well, I mean, if you had said no, I was probably still going to show up. And I was like, but you didn't have my address. You're not going to show up. And he's like, I do have your address. I was like, no, I had told you my neighborhood. And I'm thinking back, like, when we were first texting and he asked my neighborhood. I was like, no, I told you the neighborhood that I lived in. And, like, it'd been a long night. It'd been, like, 5 hours since the beginning of the date at this point. And he was like, no, at the beginning of the date, I asked for your address, remember? And, like, my heart stopped. And I realized this man's a predator. And he was like, yeah, I got your address right off the bat. I was coming either way. Egads, I never spoke to that man again. Stay safe out there because there are some real life predators on these dating apps. And, like, God, I don't know. If I hadn't done what he wanted, God forbid. And, like, I don't even know. I think it would have been a power thing if he came to my house because, like, we genuinely just hung out. So it's not like he was, I don't know, scary. Genuinely can't believe I almost forgot to tell you guys the craziest part about that. A couple days later, after I decided not to talk to him anymore, I found an account of his on TikTok. And when I looked up his handle in the search bar, it like popped up with a bunch of videos that people had made about him. Like he had gone a little bit viral because he had assaulted a girl. So crazy.
Story time of how my Tinder date love bombed me and then accused me of having herpes. And no, this is not clickbait, although I literally wish it was because I would do anything for this to not be my life, but here we are. Okay, if you are like my mom or my sisters or literally anyone I know for that matter, just go ahead and keep scrolling. So this girl and I, we matched on Tinder and we like hit it off almost immediately. Like I just feel like we clicked really, really fast, which if you're on the dating apps or anything like that, that usually doesn't happen. Like you usually don't see many normal people on there. So when you finally see someone that's like normal and not totally weird or wanting something really weird, if you know, you like gravitate towards them, which is kind of what happened. So she was like really fun to talk to and everything. We didn't talk very long and she was like, okay, gonna go to bed, like night, whatever. And I was like, okay, I'll message you tomorrow. I messaged her the next day and She replied in the afternoon and was just like, hey, just so you know, I'm not on my phone, like literally at all during the day. And I know, like, if you're gay, if you're a girl, or I don't know, anyone for that matter, you know that that's probably a really big red flag. Me, I was like, I was just like, okay, she's not on her phone until 8, 9 o'clock at night. That's normal. So we would only talk in the evening times, and we would talk for a few hours each evening, and she was so funny and so sweet to me. Like, she was like, you're so funny, you're so cute, you're like the prettiest girl ever, and I was just like, oh, that's so nice, because I'm so stupid and gullible. So we talked pretty consistently for like a week, with the exception of like 1 or 2 nights. And then finally, one of us was like, okay, like we should meet up, we should hang out. And she was like, okay, it has to be like this day. I was just like, okay, whatever, you know. Another red flag. But once again, I was like, perfect. So we meet up at a bar and we hit it off. At least I felt like we did. Pretty quick, and she was just like, oh my god, everything I said. She was like, you are the greatest human to ever exist. You are so pretty, you are so kind, you are everything I want. And I was just like eating it up. Like, I was just like, oh my god, I'm obsessed with this girl. Now, mind you, when we first started talking, we both were like, we're not looking for like anything, like we're not specifically looking for anything serious, but if something comes from, you know, someone that we meet or whatever, then we're okay with that. And I meant that, but there were a couple times throughout us talking that she would make comments that was like, I don't really want anything serious, like I'm worried you're gonna want something serious. And I was just like, no, like I understand, like if that's not what you're wanting, then, you know, whatever. We still ended up hanging out, meeting up, whatever. So we have a couple drinks, and after like a couple hours of hanging out, she's like, oh my god, the time's gone by so fast. I'm like having the greatest time ever. Like, I want to keep hanging out. And I was like, oh, like, well, we can go to like a different bar or whatever. And she's like, no, I don't really want to keep drinking, like blah, blah, blah. And so she was like, but I really want to keep hanging out. And I was like, okay, well, like you can come over to my house. And she was like, perfect. We get back to my house, and she's pretty forward when we get back to my house about what she's wanting when she gets, like when she got there, like after we like put on a movie and stuff like that, which whatever, fine. So, you know, one thing led to another. I'm sure you could assume by now what happened. We kind of hooked up a little bit, and then she, right after that, she was like, it's getting really late, like I need to go. And I was like, okay, fine, whatever. Took her back to her car, whatever. The next day she texts me in the morning, mind you, and is like, I had the best time ever, like when is too soon to see you again? And I was like, oh my god, she wants to see me again. Like, I'm just so naive. So it's a Sunday morning when she sends this. We hung out Saturday night. We end up agreeing to hang out the next day, as in Monday. So this is where things get interesting. She comes over and she's pretty forward again about what exactly like she's wanting, which is fine, but I didn't think that, I guess that's maybe all that she was gonna want coming over that second night, but I was like, whatever. So we end up hooking up again, and she, at the end of it, got really, really weird, like was super like standoffish, and like then verbally was like, just so you know, like I'm feeling very, very anxious right now. And like we had both kind of expressed to each other that like we both had anxiety, so I was trying to be like, you know, understanding, and I was like, it's okay, like if you need to leave, I understand, like I totally understand like what it's like to be anxious in a place that you're like not comfortable in and everything like that. She was like, no, it's fine, I'm having fun, but like I just want to tell you, like nothing is ever going to come from this, like literally nothing is going to come from this. And I was like, okay, you know, whatever. For whatever reason, she was still like freaking out, I guess, maybe that we had hooked up and like that I was gonna maybe be wanting more or something. I don't really know. But I was trying to like make her feel better despite how much she like love bombed me. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I was genuinely confused, but I was like, whatever. Like, she had told me a few times like she wasn't really wanting anything serious, whatever. So it was at that point that my dumbass thought, like, to make her feel better about like whatever reason she was feeling like that, I was like, look, like I'm not in any place really to be in a relationship either. Like, I had been honest and open with her about my divorce, The only thing that I wasn't honest with her about was the fact that I was living with my ex, not my ex-wife, an ex from a really long time ago who I'm now friends with, whatever. But I justified me not telling her because I was like, she just told me she wanted casual, so I didn't feel like it was important to tell her. Mind you, any other person that I had talked to on any of the apps, I had been open and honest about really like early on about my divorce and my living situation out of respect for other people's boundaries and maybe what they're wanting in life. I didn't want to just like bombard them one day. But because she just kept telling me she didn't really want anything, she wasn't sure what she wanted, blah, 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 I didn't feel like it was necessary to disclose that right at the beginning. So anyways, I was like, hey, don't even worry. Like, I'm literally like divorced, living with my ex. Like, it's not a big deal. Like, you're good. And it was in this point that literally like something completely flipped on her. She was like, are you serious? You're literally living with your ex and like we just hooked up and blah 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 and your ex is here. And I was like, it's not my ex-wife. And she was like, I don't care. Like, she got very hostile. Like, she wasn't really being like mean or like yelling, but I could tell she was pissed. And I was like, I'm sorry, like I just thought like you told me you wanted casual, like I didn't mean to make you uncomfortable. Like, I felt really, really bad. And then she literally looked at me and was like, if you're lying about living with your ex, how do I know that you're not lying about having herpes? I was like, pause, simmered the fuck down. So she was pretty worked up and I was pretty offended. And I was like, look, I don't have herpes and I'm a nurse and I understand how important it is to disclose that type of stuff before you do things with people. But I was like, you know, you told me you didn't really want anything. Like, we had never really talked about our lives much or anything like that. So I was like, I'm sorry. Like, I just didn't think I needed to like disclose that part of my life. Like, I never lied about it. I just never said, hey, I'm living with my ex from high school. Like, that was never said. So yeah, she was pretty upset and ended up leaving, and it was really awkward when she left, but I was just like, whatever. And I was a little upset. Like, I was just embarrassed that she said those things. And, you know, like, just with the divorce and everything, I do carry like a lot of embarrassment and everything that happened and like my living situation. So I was just feeling a type of way about it. She ended up messaging me that night and being like, hey, I know I acted a little immaturely and was like wanting to apologize. And I didn't end up messaging her till the next day, and we kind of talked about things, and she understood that like where I was coming from and like apologized and everything. And I was like saying sorry too and like, you know, whatever. And that was that. That was the end of it. So long story short, stay off the dating apps because most people on there are off their fucking rocker. So
y'all, let me tell you about this horror story date that I went on, right? So I was talking to this guy and it was a Tuesday. I was off that day, he was off that day. So I'm like, okay, like, what you doing today? What you got plans for tonight? He's like, oh, I'm probably gonna go to the movies. I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. He was like, yeah, do you want to come with me? And I'm like, not really, because I don't really like to go to movies on the first day because hello, it's a movie, what are we gonna talk about, right? But then I ended up talking to my friend on the phone. I'm like, oh, like, I want to go out to get something to eat, but this guy asked me to the movies. Like, should I go? She was like, yeah, you should go. Like, why not? So I called him back and I'm like, hey, like, you know what? I don't mind going to the movies, but can we change the movie theater to somewhere that's a little bit like in the middle of the both of us? So he's like, yeah, sure, no problem. Okay, cool. So I'm getting ready for the movies or whatever. And then I think he had texted me. He was like, oh, do you think this movie theater checks bags? And I'm like, probably not, because as far as I know, movie theaters don't check bags unless you know the Sunrise movie theater in Valley Stream that used to be lit back in the day. They checked bags for whatever ghetto ass reason, but movie theaters usually do not check bags. So he's like, oh, okay, cool, because I'm gonna bring some food. And I'm like, oh shit, you lit. Okay, cool, right? So now I'm in my car, I'm on my way to the movie theater, and then he calls me. He's like, hey, how far are you? I'm like, oh, I'm like 10 minutes away. He's like, okay, do you need me to get your movie ticket? I'm like, yes, I need you to get my movie ticket. Why wouldn't I need you to get my movie ticket? So then he's like, oh, okay, cool. So I get to the movie theater and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm here. where you at? He was like, oh, I'm inside. And I had a blonde moment for a second. I'm like, you inside the movie theater? He's like, yeah, I'm inside. I'm like, so you like about to watch the movie? He's like, nah, like I'm at the concession stand. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I come in, his back is turned to the door. That like, bro, you know I'm coming, like turn around, come in between, like, you know how movie theaters, they have the first door, the second door, like come out there, like something. He didn't do that, right? So I come over to him and I'm like, hey, what's up? He's like, hey, give me a little side hug or whatever. Then he starts telling me like, oh, his app is acting funny, like he can't log in. I'm like, oh damn, like you didn't do like a password recovery, password reset. He's like, nah, it's not letting me, he don't got access to that email, blah blah blah. I'm like, damn, that's crazy. So he's like, oh, do you want anything to eat? And I'm like, yeah, I'll take chips and a drink. So he's like, okay, cool. So I see him order the tickets, and the tickets is like $44 for the both of us. And in my head I'm like, damn, that's kind of crazy, especially when you know, like on a Tuesday the tickets cost like what, $7 or something, 7 to 22. Like that's a big jump. Anyways, so he orders the tickets and he's kind of like upset because like it's expensive, right? Or it's not the price that he was expecting it to be. His app was not working, it wasn't expected, whatever. Okay, cool. So I get my food and now we're walking to the movie theater. And he is walking, mind you, this man is like 6'2", 6'3". So he's walking, and when he's walking, he's taking like donkey strides, like horse strides, like mad big steps. I'm shorter, like I'm 5'4", I'm average height. I'm not about to run to keep up with you, right? So I'm walking my regular pace, and then he what did he do? I'm walking my regular pace, so then he peeps like, oh, she's not walking next to me. So he stops and like he waits for me or whatever, right? So we get into the movie theater, and then he's like, okay, I'm gonna be right back, and text me when the movie starts. So I'm like, okay, like is he going to the bathroom, like what's going on? So he goes, he comes back, he like, okay, I got it figured out, I'm getting my money back, okay, cool. So we watching a movie, I'm eating my chips, I'm dipping it in my cheese, like, you know. Then I'm like, okay, do you want some? He's like, nah, I don't want any, I got my own chips, can I just have some cheese? So I'm like, okay, cool. So he takes out a bag of purple Doritos, and he act like, you know, he get the cheese or whatever. So I'm like, okay, cool. So then the man takes the cheese, holding the cheese that I need for my dry ass chips, right, eats some, and then puts it on the, like, not in the middle of us, on the side that he's sitting on, so on his right side, because I'm sitting on his left side. So I'm like, okay, so I'm kind of just sitting there, I'm not eating my chips anymore, right? But I'm not about to say nothing to you because, like, common fucking sense, like, I need my cheese back. So then I'm like, he's like, oh, you need that? I'm like, yeah. So he gives me my cheese back. I proceed to eat my shit, and I'm not about to ask him if he wants cheese again, because I already know what this nigga about to do. He about to take the fucking cheese and not give it back, and I'm about to have some dry ass chips, right? So we're sitting there watching a movie. Then this nigga pull out a fucking box of chicken wings. Okay, and I'm not gonna lie, them chicken wings look good, right? You pull out his box of chicken wings. Did this man ask me if I wanted a fucking chicken wing? No. So he's chowing town, like he's going to town on these chicken wings. I'm like, wow, that's crazy. Peeped. I didn't ask for none. That's your business. But I peep. So then we're watching a movie, and then he's like, oh, that's a Porsche rocket ship. That's a Porsche. In my head, I'm like, bro, do you know that I'm just a girl? Like, I don't know nothing about cars. I don't know nothing about supercars, fancy cars. I don't know nothing. I don't care either. Like, all I see is a Porsche. I don't know what kind of Porsche it is, nor do I give a fuck. Anyway, so the movie continues, and then he, like, puts his hands like this, like, behind his head. And I guess he was about to, like, put his arm, like you know the, oh, I'm tired, put my arm around you shit. I was like, mind you, I told you he was sitting next to me on this side. I said, okay, we continue watching the movie. Yeah, so the movie comes to an end. So we're getting up or whatever. Mind you, remember I told you this nigga had Doritos, he had chicken wings, he had fucking, I don't know, French fries, all that other shit that he had to pick the fuck up. Oh, did I mention, did he order popcorn too? I want to say he ordered popcorn too, but maybe he didn't, so we're just gonna leave that out, right? So the movie's over, so you know, I get up, I got my little trail, whatever, and he's taking his sweet ass time. So in my head, I'm like, yo, I'ma just walk to like the exit of the movie theater because this is awkward, like me just standing here, right? So the movie's done, and obviously the movie's done. So anyway, so he gets up, he meets me at the door. Does he have his trash? I don't even know, because I think I waited for him like outside the movie theater and not just by like the trash cans. So I get outside, I'm waiting for him or whatever, and then he's like, oh, okay, like I gotta go use the bathroom. I'm like, okay, cool, I'm gonna wait right here. Negative. As soon as he went into them bathroom doors, I booked it. I ran. And I think one of the guys that was in the movie with us, he like saw me and he was coming out. Like he was walking to his car too. So he low-key starts laughing because he's like, like, you're leaving. Like, that's funny. Anyways, I booked it to my car. I blocked his number. And yeah, I haven't heard from that man since, because how dare you ask me to come to the movies with you, then ask me if I need you to buy my ticket. I don't need you to buy my ticket, but you will buy my ticket because you asked me to come to the movies. Furthermore, you're a man and I'm just a girl. And as far as I know, the movie tickets are $7 today. How dare you take my cheese and not give it the fuck back? How dare you get chicken wings, and if you knew you didn't want to share your chicken wings, dude, you could have asked me when you was at the chicken wing spot and be like, yo, do you want some chicken wings? This is what I'm about to eat at the movie theater. How dare you try to touch me? I can't even say that definitive if he was really trying to put his arm around me, but how dare you even, like, why would you even do that in a movie theater? And who the fuck gives a fuck if they're driving a Porsche rocket ship? Obviously, that's not the name of the car, but, you know, I'm just saying, like, it's a supercar. Who cares? I can't afford it. You can't afford it. Why do we care? Anyways, that was a day horror story that I went on. And that was the first time I did somebody on a date. And I'm actually really proud of myself, because old me would have sit there and endured it. And I'm leaving, baby. I'm out of here.
A couple weeks ago, I was supposed to go on this first date with a guy from Hinge, and he was texting me a lot leading up to it. It got to the point where if he would text me and I wouldn't respond for like a couple hours, he would be like, damn, somebody forgot about me. Happened several times to the point where I had to be like, okay, I know you're kidding and you're joking around, but this is a little bit much. Like, we haven't even been on a first date and I work and stuff, so I'm not gonna respond right away. His first response was, alrighty, and then he followed that up with, why don't you let me know what times you work so I know when to text you? And I was like, I already told you I work a 9 to 5, but also I can chat sometimes, so like, why is this a thing? Like, we haven't even met. But we had a date planned and he seemed like a nice guy besides that, so I was willing to just go on this first date and see how the vibe was in person. It gets to the day of the date and he texts me good morning, and he texts me, hey, confirming that we're still on for 7 o'clock tonight with the place that we were supposed to go. And I was like, yep, sounds good, I'll see you there. The evening rolls around and I fully get ready for this date, and I text him before our date is supposed to start, and I'm like, hey, I'm leaving now, I'm on my way. And my text goes to green, and it hadn't been green before. I text him again after he doesn't respond, and it's supposed to be the time of our date, and I was like, hey, we still on? Like, what's going on? Same thing, green text, he doesn't respond. And then I tried calling him, which I shouldn't have. I should have just left it at the unanswered text, right? But I called him trying to see like what was happening. Like, maybe his phone died, but like, who lets their phone die before first date? I don't know. Phone goes straight to voicemail. I literally think this man blocked me. This man who would not leave me alone for days and desperately wanted to go on a date with me. Like, he was so excited about me. It was pretty obvious. And I mean, who wouldn't? Like, look at me. Anyhow, he blocked me before our date, and he had confirmed our date. What kind of psycho ass behavior is that? That genuinely is probably one of the weirdest things that has happened to me while dating, and weird things have happened to me, like weird things. I'll be retiring from the dating scene until further notice. I give up. I don't think that my soulmate is in Indiana, and I don't even know why I'm even trying. And these men on dating apps are absolutely crazy. If you watched my dating horror stories that I posted on Valentine's Day, remember the guy who tried to blame being racist on his cat? That guy also vaped at the dinner table on our first date, and I just overlooked that. Yeah. A grown ass man vaping at the dinner table on our first date. And I was like, yeah, let's definitely have a second date. What? An opening line I got the other day on a dating app was, I hope you like neck kisses. I was like, whoa, what the heck? Like, you're really gonna open with that? And then he got really mad that I was like not into him opening with "Hope you like neck kisses." I legitimately bought a book the other day called How to Date Men When You Hate Men. It's gotten to that point. As excruciating as it is to date in this day and age, it also makes for a great story time. So at least there's that. If there's one thing men have, it's the audacity. And I'm done. I'm done.
So my Tinder match ended up committing fraud against me, stealing all my cards and my wallet. You know, no big deal, right? This is Atlanta, am I right? This is old. This happened a while ago. So this might not even be the man Instagram, but his name is Zion Diggs. He lives in Ellenwood. And we went on like a few dates. You know, we matched on Tinder and he paid for the dates, right? So I'm not thinking like this guy would rob me. I'm like, okay, he paid for the dates. Like obviously he got some money. So this was when I was still living in the dorm. We were on a date, and then after the date, we're like, oh, let's go back to my dorm room and play some games or like whatever. So while he's in my dorm room, I'm like, okay, I'm hungry. I want to go to the cafe and grab food. People who stayed in the dorm know about the cafe. And like, that was 2020, and it was like lots of COVID restrictions. So I had to like give him my student ID, and he had to like sneak in the dorm. So it's not like we could just go in and out the dorm as we please. So I left him in my dorm room to go to the cafe. Little did I know, as I left him in my dorm room, he was stealing all of my debit cards, all of my credit cards, stealing everything on my wallet out of my dorm room. The next day, I started getting charges on my stuff. While he was still in my room when I went to the cafe, I didn't realize until afterwards, he sent himself 2 payments of $140 on Cash App and like made all these attempted charges on my card. Then, after everything is all said and done, this man went to go and write "scammed a Nigerian scammer" on his Instagram story because I'm Nigerian. He went to go and write "scammed a Nigerian scammer." What? As if this is not bad enough, I want to say a year or two later, this man starts talking to my friend, like my close friend. And the way we figured it out is because her and I went out for dinner and she posted a selfie of us together. Why did he swipe up on that selfie and is like, oh, how you know her? So my friend is like, why is my man asking how I know you? Like, so I see the man and I'm like, ain't this the man who robbed me? So yeah, like just be careful. That's it.
When I was 20, I had this Tinder date with this girl who said, hey, we should get pizza from this place called XYZ. It's a local place, that's why I'm not naming it. And I said, oh, sure. Should I go pick it up? And she said, yes. So I was like, oh, okay. So I assumed she had already ordered it because it was her idea and she was the one who brought it up. So I was like, oh, she probably wants me to pick up the order. So I get to the pizza place and I'm like, hey, I have an order to pick up for her name. And they look in the back and they're like, oh, we can't find anything. And I'm like, oh, okay, give me just 1 second. So I call the girl and I'm like, hey, did you put the order in for the pizza? And she goes, no, you were supposed to buy it. And I said, oh, well, I had no idea. I didn't, so it's not going to be ready yet. And she's like, okay, well, just come over then. So I was like, okay. So I told the lady, I was like, can you put in an order for like a large cheese pizza for like takeout? And she's like, yeah, it's gonna be like 20 minutes. I won't charge you till it's done. You just want to put in for it and then come back when it's done and pay? And I was like, yes. So then I drove to this girl's house and she had this. Okay, so I drove to this girl's house and she was in a 2-story apartment, okay? And so I get up there, I knock on her door. She lets me in. She says, take your shoes off immediately when I get into the room. So I was like, okay. And then she's like, do you mind if we take my dog on a walk? And it was like this little, like this big. It was a cute dog. It was a very small dog. But she's like, do you mind if we take it on a walk? And I was like, sure. And it had been raining that day and the day before. So we go out to the stairs and she has the dog on a leash. And she says, can you pick my dog up down the stairs for me? And I kind of was like, but I didn't question it. And I said, yeah, sure. So I picked the dog up, brought it down the stairs. And then we're walking and we get to a crosswalk and there's this little shallow puddle, no more than 1 inch to 2 inches deep on the ground. Probably like this big, okay? Like this big. Like I could probably fit 2 shoes in it. And she goes, stops and says, "Can you please pick him up over this? I don't want him to get hurt." I looked at her and I said, "Why? He's fine. It's a dog." And a car was coming, so we just crossed, and I didn't even pick him up, and we just ignored it after that. And we keep walking her dog, and as we get to this park, she's like, I hate living down here because I'm just always so scared that guys are gonna assault me because I'm just so pretty, and guys probably want to assault me like right when they see me. I was like, what the fuck? Right when I heard that, I made a plan to leave. So my plan was to say that I left my wallet at that park and that I had to go look for it. So we walked back to her house, and once we got inside, I went to the bathroom, and then I was like, oh my God, I can't find my wallet. She's like, "You didn't leave it here?" And I was like, "No." I was like, "Maybe it's in my car." So she's like, "Okay, let's go check." So she walks down with me, and we go down her stairs, and I'm walking in front of her, okay? Keep in mind, I'm like, I'm here, she's here behind me. Okay, I'm walking, and she goes, do you like being in front because it makes you feel like the leader or something? And I said, "No, I'm just walking." And that was it. And then I got to my car, and she's like, "Can you guess which one's mine?" And I didn't even guess it. She's like, "Okay, go look for your wallet." So I went in my car, and my wallet was in my back pocket this whole time, okay? So I like pretended like I was rummaging around in my car for my wallet. And I don't know, like 30 seconds into that, just all of a sudden my door opens, and she goes, "Did you find it?" And I was like, "No, I'm still looking. I think I left it at the park." And she like looked at me like this. "Are you sure?" And fucking patted my pockets down. Patted me down on my front pockets. And luckily it wasn't there. And I just said, "No, I think I left it at the park. Go get the pizza because we have to go get it soon. And I'll go back there and check, and I'll meet you there." And she just stared at me like this and said, "Fine." And closed the door and got in her car and drove off, and I fucking dipped. I didn't go to the park. I went home. Never talked to her again. Don't go on Tinder dates. Seriously, okay, I'm sorry. That's not what I meant. Be careful with who you go on Tinder dates with.
Crazy dating horror stories. I have to tell you guys this one. This is very scary. So went on 3 dates with this guy. First 2 dates, totally normal, no red flags. First date was a coffee date, and then we ended up having lunch later that day. And then the next time was dinner, both totally normal. Third date, he said, "Hey, let's get some Mexican food." I was like, "Cool, don't have to tell me twice about some chips and queso and a margarita, let's do it." So we went, had a great evening. The whole time he was talking about his car, how his car is like his baby. I don't know anything about cars, so he was saying what kind of car it was. I had zero idea what that meant. Whatever. It was a flex apparently for him. It was a convertible. That's all that I knew. He talked about it the entire time, how he like built it himself, all those things. So after dinner, he says, "Hey, would you want to like ride around in my car?" He's like, "It's a really nice night. It's a convertible. Would love to turn the music up and just have a great time." Now, riding around with music and the windows down is like one of my favorite things to do in the world. So I was like, "Yeah, then we can do that. It's my third date with this guy. It should be fine." Now, my friends knew that I was on a date with this guy, but did not know like that I would be going anywhere with him, obviously. So I wasn't anticipating like going to a house or anything like that. We get in the car, we're listening to music, all is well. It's been a great evening. Then he pulls into a neighborhood. I was like, "Where are we going?" He said, "Oh, this is my house." He's like, "I have leftover food in the back. I just really want to run it into the refrigerator real quick." I was so uncomfortable because I'm like, no one knows where I'm at. I did not tell them that I was going to somebody's house. So I was like, "I would prefer us not. Like, can we just go back and you can just drop me off and then come right back?" He's like, "No, I'm already here. Like, I live 15 minutes away from the restaurant. I don't want to drive all the way back. We're already here. Let me run in. You don't even have to come in." Like, okay. So he runs in. I sit in the car. 10, 15 minutes later, this man is still not out. I'm texting him from outside in the car like, "Hey, is everything okay?" He finally calls me and he's like, "Hey, you should just come in. My dog is having some trouble. I think she ate something bad. Come in and just like stay with me for a few minutes and then we'll go." I'm like, okay. If I could go back and shake myself and tell myself absolutely not run, I would, but I did not. At the time, I was too much of a people pleaser and I was afraid to say, "Hey, I just don't feel comfortable with this." So I went along with it to be nice. I go inside and there is 2 wine glasses full of wine. And this was like the fourth red flag. I was like, hey, I don't really feel comfortable getting drunk or like drinking a lot. Thank you so much though. He gets so mad. What do you mean? Do you think I'm gonna like do something to you just because you're drunk? Sir, why is that your first thing to say? That's strange. So I just said, no, thank you. I'm good. Guys, this date gets scary and weird and awful and all the things. So, but it's getting long. We're going to make a part 2. So follow along for part 2. Crazy dating story, convertible guy, part 2. If you ever need to watch part 1, you can go watch it so you're not lost. And also trigger warning to those of you who have maybe experienced SA or grape. You may not want to watch this. Just wanted to say that first. Okay, so at this point, I have already said no to the drinks, right? He says, okay, fine, whatever. You could tell he's irritated, but he lets it go. He says, let's play some board games. I'm like, cool, let's do it. So we play some board games. The whole time I'm like sitting there in my head, like no one knows where I'm at. Like I have to do something. So I share my location with a friend, but like didn't tell her where I was, didn't tell her like what was happening. I just shared the location. And the whole time I'm like beating myself up. Like, why am I here? I don't want to be here. He makes me uncomfortable. I'm not sure what to do. So in the middle of the game, he says something so sweet, whatever. Your eyes are glistening. Your skin is beautiful, whatever they say. And he kisses me. I tried to let it go and tried to just like get out of my own head and just enjoy the moment. But the whole time I was like, I don't know what he's expecting here. And he's already irritated at me. So after we kissed for a minute, I pushed him away and I was like, I'm good. He keeps trying. I push him away again. I was like, no, I'm good. And this is where it gets scary. He whips me up off the couch, pushes me up against the wall. And he says, I love it when a woman says no. It just makes me push harder. My eyes got real big. My heart starts beating really fast. I'm like, okay, what is my game plan here? And then he says, no, really, say no again. I love it. And he gets so excited on his face. Now, I have worked with predators for years as a mental health therapist. I understand their mindset and I understand that it is a control issue. They get off on fear. I was not about to give this man any fear. So in that quick thinking, I just I didn't want to give him any fear. So what I did was I played very like cool, very neutral. I just said, oh, okay. He's like, no, I mean it. Say no again. I was like, no, I already did once. And you could tell he was not sure what to do because he had never experienced that. So I was like, okay, thank you so much for such a great night. Like, I really appreciate the fact that you bought me dinner. Like, what? That was incredible. I said, plus like the games, thank you. And of course, in my head, I'm freaking the F out. But out loud, I was like, I'm not giving this man the like justification or the satisfaction. That's the word. I'm not giving him the satisfaction of seeing me scared. So again, I just said, thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and call an Uber because you're drunk. But like, feel free to just wait around with me if you want, or like wait in the house. I'm gonna go outside. And this threw him so off that he did not know what to do. He was like, oh, okay, well, thanks so much. Do I get to see you again? I was like, absolutely. Because again, I was not going to tip this man off that I was scared or freaking out. He ended up waiting outside with me for the 15 minutes it took for the Uber to come. He kissed me on the cheek goodbye. I got in the car and left. Now, I know there's gonna be people who pick me apart for this response, but it got me out alive. And I would do it again in a heartbeat. Other than I would have just never gone in the first place. And for those of you who ask if I turned him in to the police, no, I did not. I have had a lot of experience with this type of thing as a therapist, and I see that unless there's actual like crazy violence, they just don't take it seriously. A threat is like he said, she said, it's not going to be taken seriously. I did report him to the app that I matched with him on as like a dangerous person, but that's the extent of it. I obviously blocked him right away, which you guys know if you follow me, I don't block people easily, but that was terrifying. And I did go to therapy after that and really dug into why I was such a people pleaser and struggled so much with just saying I'm uncomfortable. And I did a lot of work around that. But I could do a whole series on this and the importance of boundaries and being able to communicate no means no. But it was a pretty terrifying situation. Crazy, right?
Okay, I saw a girl on TikTok do her Hinge horror story and it triggered some of my PTSD, so I'm going to be doing one of mine for y'all. So this was my freshman year. I decided to download every single dating app that there was because college men just were not it. And look, let me be your big sister and tell you this. If you're in college, about to go to college, about to grad, do not get on no dating app. It is literally a Canaan event to download a dating app and meet like literally the man of your nightmares. Because I met mine. And it just so happened he was a part of the army. So we matched and we, started doing a little small talk on Hinge. Like I was texting him, but I wasn't really texting for real. Cause like the app when you first download dating apps, it's like they just throw anybody at you. So it took a lot of like swipe, 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 swipe to finally come across him. And once I did, like, you know, we had small talk here and there, whatever. And then we decided to move it to iMessage and we started talking some more. And then he was like, oh, I want to take you out to eat. Cool. We go out to eat and everything. Everything's great. And then he takes me back to his apartment, whatever. We go in there, meet his dog and whatever. Dog's really cute, cool. Go to the room and we just go to sleep. Nothing happens. So this continues. Like, we would go on dates, we would like go out, we would just do things, always spending time together. And I was really thinking that this was the one, y'all. He would get me flowers, he would get me gifts, he would show up to my dorm and stuff, like super duper sweet. I was thinking nothing was wrong with this man, or so I thought. One faithful day, I don't know why he decided to do this, but he asked me if I had Snapchat. And I had Snapchat, but it was when I was like in middle school, high school-ish. So I really only keep it just for like the memories. I don't use it that much. So I was like, yeah, but I don't use it. So he said, add me on there. Cool. I had him on Snapchat and he sends me a video. And the video is him engaging in sexual intercourse with some other girl. And I can clearly see it's him and I can clearly see it's another girl. And he's like, can I do this to you whenever yeah. So obviously I am confuzzled, I'm bamboozled, I am just sitting there livid looking at my phone like, why would you send me this? Even if it's not recent, why would you send me your tape with another girl? It wasn't making no type of sense, y'all. So I did not even give him the time of day. I blocked him, his number, I blocked him on Snapchat, I blocked him on Instagram, blocked him. I blocked him and kept it pushing because I was like, there's just no way you just disrespected me like that. And you know what this man decided to do? He then decides to create a Text Now account, spam my phone, telling me to unblock him, saying he was sorry, but whatever. Then he went on Facebook, found my Facebook, texted me on there. Went on my TikTok, found my TikTok, messaged me on there. And the kicker of it all is he found my business email and emailed me telling me to unblock him. And then like the messages literally went from I'm sorry to you're overreacting. Like, why would, like, what is wrong with you? Like, it's my fault. But yeah, him and I have not spoke since then. Actually, what like kind of triggered this memory as well is that he had actually like commented under one of my videos because I guess it popped up on his For You page and I blocked him off there as well. But yeah. Don't trust any of these dating app men. Mm-mm.